All right. Hopefully, I'll be able to do this with a piece of paper towel in my mouth. Hello, Pat. Hello, atheism's illogic. What a silly name. I should probably open up my other.
Hello.
YOLO. So as it currently stands, we are sitting at. Let's see. Switch account. 504 subscribers to our YouTube channel. That's fantastic.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, for 1 week's worth of.
I was about to say that was fast.
Yeah, it won't be long before I get to the 1,000 subscribers, and I'll be able to start monetizing and making money, which means I'll be able to buy equipment. So there's that. Hello, Joyful. Good to see you.
Hey, Joyful.
All right, looks like we already got a guest. We got Adam Truther. Adam, I'm gonna ask you the same 3 questions I ask every single one of our guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old or older?
Yes.
Question number 2: are you a Bible believer?
No.
Oh, okay. Question number 3: what are your pronouns?
He, him.
Okay. If you're not a Bible believer, why are you up here, Adam?
I heard about the YouTube channel, and it sounded like Ashlyn might be an atheist too, so I was curious about that and how that's going and stuff.
Yep, we are both atheists.
I'm the co-host. It's not like an open panel.
Are you another she, her, Ashlyn?
I am. Thank you for asking, actually.
Yes.
She, her.
Oh my goodness. I tried doing the Z one time and they got mad and kicked me off. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, people
even on stuff.
Yeah, even within sometimes even within the atheist community or even individuals within the LGBTQIA plus community don't know neopronouns, and they think that it's like a joke. But yeah, I understand. Would you prefer neopronouns?
I'm not into that pronoun stuff. I'm a conservative atheist, and
But you are into those pronouns. But you are into the pronouns thing. You just used when you said I am not into those pronoun things. I is a pronoun.
Yeah, whatever. But was gonna say something. I lost my train of thought now. But
what's the point of being an atheist? What's the point of being an atheist if you're gonna be conservative? You don't have a god to make you an asshole. Why be a conservative?
Yeah, just unaliving innocent babies. I'm just not into that. And
who said anything about killing innocent babies?
The AB thing and
Abortion?
even if yeah, and even if I support that,
abortion doesn't kill innocent babies. Fetuses prior to 24 weeks are neither innocent nor guilty. They are amoral things. Why should I care about? Oh, okay. What's the point of being an atheist if you're also going to be a conservative asshole? It's you're wasting it. You're wasting your opportunity to be a good person. All right.
Okay, that was interesting.
Conservative atheists will never.
Says I tried neopronouns. Be like, no, I don't care. I'm conservative. What the fuck was the point?
Yeah, no. He tries neopronouns in order to try to, because he thinks they're silly, and he goes and this is a common tactic of people who don't understand how pronouns work, is that they think that pronouns are silly.
It's not silly. It's how you choose to express yourself. That's just as silly as saying that made up names are silly. They're not. Like, all names are made up. These are just newer made up names. Like,
Yeah. Anyways, everyone, make sure to tap that screen share the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends, with your enemies. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy, and I don't believe in the Bible. But maybe if you're a believer in the Bible out there, you can convince me. Note that I missaid believers of the Bible. So the people I want to see in my guest box are Bible believers. We will see if anyone today has a modicum of reading comprehension.
and to, like, also on the neoprotons thing, some of, like, Shakespeare made up words all the time. Like, changed how language is used. Like, our greatest writers did this. It's not weird. It's just an expression.
Jim LePage said, Dalton, I have been watching you guest on other streams, and you have been an absolute delight. Thank you, Jim. Much appreciated. Kerrigan says, I do believe Bible God's favorite thing is unaliving babes. Right. That's true. Although the last guest wasn't a Christian, so... Yeah. Anyways, we have Smarter Than You. Smarter Than You, I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions I ask all my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old or older?
Yeah, of course I do. Good evening.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Yeah, of course.
All right, question number 3, what are your pronouns?
Where I'm from?
Yeah, in English language, what pronouns do you go by?
Brother, we can speak in English. Which way you need?
Do you know what pronouns are?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, what pronouns do you go by?
So can we go to the topic?
Nope. You can answer my question. We don't get to talk about anything else until you answer the 3 questions. So question number 3, what are your pronouns?
I can't understand your question, brother.
Okay. Question number 4, do you know what pronouns are?
For now, no, brother. Please explain it to me.
Pronouns are words that replace proper nouns in order to avoid repetition. Words like he, him, she, her, or they, them. Which one of these 3 do you go by?
Yeah, I know
What was
that. I know that.
All right, so which one do you go by?
I am.
No. Was that one of the 3 options I gave you?
Brother, I can't understand what you're talking about.
I'm using very simple words here. Do you go by he, him? Do you go by she, her? Or do you go by they, them?
If I said Smarter Than You went to the store, and I replaced Smarter Than You, I would say he went to the store, she went to the store, or they...
You mean you need to know my gender?
No, your pronouns.
Yeah, him, brother.
Okay.
There you go. All right. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I don't believe in the Bible. Why should I believe in the Bible?
Okay, the thing is, have you ever read the Bible?
Yes, that's why I'm called the Bible guy.
Okay, the thing is, what contradiction did you get from it? So you say you are not Bible believer. You just need to give me some option, something why you not believe. That's why we can speak about that. Okay.
Sure. Here's a question for you. When Mary Magdalene approached Jesus' tomb, was the door to the tomb closed already, or was it open when they got there?
What door? When
The tomb,
Mary?
the entrance to the tomb, Jesus' tomb.
Okay, can you please specify your question one more time?
All right. So when Mary Magdalene, after Jesus' death, when Mary Magdalene went to go see Jesus' tomb, was the door to his tomb closed when they got there, or was it opened?
Actually, according to the Bible, the door was opened.
You would be correct if we're reading the Gospel of. You said opened.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you would be correct if we were reading the Gospel of Mark. You would be incorrect if we read the Gospel of Matthew.
Okay.
If you leave the screen, I won't be able to hear you. Here, Matt. Here's smarter than you. I want you to read to me Matthew chapter 16, verses 1 through 4, out loud. Well, do you have a Bible on you, or do you have to leave the app? Because if you leave the app, I won't be able to hear you. Smart. I can't. Are you there?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
don't.
I'm here. You need me to read Matthew 16.
Yeah, but do you have a Bible on hand, or do you need to leave the app to read it?
Actually, I'm out right now, but I got Bible in
Here,
my hand. Okay.
yeah. Mark chapter 16,
Uh-huh.
verses 1 through 4. What does it say?
Give me 1 second. Let me explore it, please.
No, here. Let me just read it to you, Miss Marner. Let me just read it to you. And when the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James, and Salome brought spices so that they might go and anoint him. And very early on the first day of the week, they went to the tomb when the sun had risen. And they were saying to one another, "Who will roll away the stone for us from the door of the tomb?" And looking up, they saw that the stone was rolled back, and it was very large. So when they get to the tomb, the stone is rolled away already, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, when we go and we read the Gospel of Matthew, however,
Mm-hmm.
what we read is, let me turn to it right now, Matthew 28. It says, "Now after the Sabbath, toward the dawn of the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to see the sepulchre. And behold, there was a great earthquake, for an angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone and sat
Excuse
upon
me,
it."
brother. Matthew 82. Okay, what way?
Dude, if you keep leaving, I'm not going to be able to hear you. Again, if you leave the app, I cannot hear you talking to me.
Okay, brother. You said Matthew 28, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I need the wheres.
Verses 1 through 2.
Give me 1 second. I'm listening to, and meantime I'm exploring it.
Yeah, I'm just going to read it so everyone else can hear it. "Now, after the Sabbath, toward the dawn of the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to see the sepulchre. And behold, there was a great earthquake, for an angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone and sat upon it." So they go to the tomb. Then an angel appears and rolls back the stone, as opposed to the other story where they simply go to the tomb and the stone is already rolled back. So, which one of these events actually happened? They both can't be true.
Brother, so you need to know the womb was opened or closed?
Yeah, was it open or closed?
Actually, brother, in this case, the thing is, in reality, I weren't there. But the thing I can say, like, the fact, undeniable fact is that Jesus wasn't there. Okay, so
No,
every book's there.
No, you're not going to ignore the question at hand. Was the stone rolled away or was it not rolled away?
Brother, I can't tell it.
Yes, you
I
can.
can't
I just read to you both passages.
Okay, I got it. In my Bible, there is written that
Jesus fuck. Dude, if you cannot stay on with me, I'm going to need to move on.
no, yeah, I'm here, brother. I'm sorry. The thing is, brother, what is the point you're trying to know?
The point is, it's a contradiction. You asked for a Bible contradiction, so I gave you one.
Okay, that contradiction. But what changed it for you? What changed for you it?
Well, the Bible's not the inspired, infallible Word of God. That's for sure.
Okay, the whole point is, brother, that Jesus wasn't there. In all the Gospels, there's written like that. Okay, the point is that Jesus wasn't there. I can't tell it is why written it is like that.
I don't think that the Gospel stories about the resurrection are real events. They are mythology. When the authors cannot even agree as to what happened, I have no reason to think that Jesus was actually laid in the tomb. or that it was ever found empty. This is just a myth. Why should I believe it to be true? You can unmute yourself. And please stop calling me brother. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
You speaking about mythology. You say that about resurrection, or you say about that Jesus never existed even?
I think Jesus existed. I just think the Gospels are myths about Jesus.
Okay, so who was Jesus for you, brother?
He was just a rabbi who got killed by the Romans.
Got killed by okay. So what do you think? Speaking about mythology, what do you think? Someone wrote about that to inspire somebody else, right?
Oh, I don't know
Mhm.
that there's. I think there might
Okay.
be a language barrier. in
Okay,
the
the thing is,
No, he
in
understands what I'm
reality,
saying.
when somebody writes about mythology, they are trying to inspire another people, right?
Yeah, but you understand mythology means it's not a true story. These things actually did not
I
happen.
understood, brother. I understood. So the thing is, I'm trying to say, like, when you speak about mythology, you gotta tell about one person who did something that, when you speak about person, you gotta tell about him something beautiful, something good, or something that
I only care about whether or not it's true, whether or not it actually happened, and I have zero reason to think it actually happened.
brother. Look, so when somebody writes about somebody, he needs to say something like encouragement or like something else for
I don't
the
care.
people.
I don't care if it's encouraging. I only care if it's
Okay,
true.
what's the point that somebody wrote about someone that they say he was God, and meantime they were saying he was
Well,
dead?
no, they never made the claim that he was God. But the reason for writing the Gospels is to push the Christian narrative that Jesus resurrected from the dead. That's the reason to come up with the story.
Okay, have you ever experienced any miracle, brother?
Nope. And I've never had it.
experienced. Okay, in that case, maybe I can give you one, brother.
No, not unless you can actually verify it to me with evidence. I don't care about personal stories. I can't confirm your personal
brother,
story.
nobody can say like there are many evidences that Jesus was there and the Roman Empire killed him. Okay,
I
but
agree with that. I agree with that. But there's no
I don't.
evidence to support
Nobody is
that he rose
able.
from the dead.
Nobody is able, brother, to give you some proof about that. Okay, there are only
Well, certainly
evidences.
you aren't.
Right now, we cannot base on the 100% proofs. We cannot live like that, brother. That's not. Reliable.
I'm not asking for 100% proof, but you've given me nothing credible to go on.
Okay, look. So, do you don't believe in Bible? Do you believe in Old Testament?
No, I don't believe. I'm an atheist.
You believe nothing else. Okay, understood. So look, have you ever seen? Okay, look. Do you believe in Satan? Maybe.
No, I'm an atheist. Why would I believe in
Okay.
Satan?
You say atheist. Okay, so you're atheist. That means you think you was born by accident. You will be gone by accident.
Well, I don't know if I was born by an accident. I don't know if my parents planned me or not.
Okay, brother, we can keep debating. I can say one reliable thing. Okay, if you wanna check it out, let's do it this way. Okay, can you give me? Look, I can give you one option, brother. That case, if you don't believe Jesus Christ, you can do this, okay? And the meantime, I will pray for you. Go home
Okay.
when you will be when you will be alone. Go home.
My
say,
dude, just so you know,
Okay.
I'm an ex-Christian. Whatever you're about to tell me to do, I probably have done it in the past.
Okay, brother. Look, you don't know what I'm saying about. That's why you can't say that you know
Here,
what
let's
I'm
see.
talking.
Let's see if you're about to tell me to do something I've already done.
Okay, look, you are ex-Christian, and just for your information, I had many reasons for being like you, okay? But I keep doing my way. I was keeping the way I've chosen. That's why right now I'm where I am. Okay. Okay, let's go to the point. brother. Look, if you don't
Yeah.
believe Jesus Christ,
What thing do you want me to do when I'm alone in my home?
okay, when you will be alone at home, what I'm saying about you, you're not gonna lose anything, okay? You just will gain or not. Actually,
Okay.
I
you
gain
will
tons
gain.
of things when I'm alone.
Okay,
In
when you
my
will be alone at home, please say, brother, in your mind
Uh-huh.
or loudly, you choose the way. Okay, do it, please. Say, Jesus Christ, if you are my creator, if you are my
Uh-huh.
father, you gotta say me
Uh-huh.
something. You gotta show me some point.
Okay.
You
I
gotta
knew
say
it.
me.
I knew
I just
it.
want to
Listen,
know.
I've
I
done
just
this
want to
before.
know. Wait, smart. Will God come inside me when I do that?
Uh-huh.
He will.
No. Look. There is ways. Do you believe in law?
Do I believe in
Every
love?
every
Yeah.
state, every state has its law. Its law, okay?
What?
And Jesus Christ has its own laws, okay? He's not showing up.
Yeah, he's
He,
never shown up. I agree.
okay, Jesus Christ gives any signs, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. Just say,
My
if you
dude.
are my creator
My
and you are
dude.
my
My
father.
dude. Smarter. I've done this before. You know I'm
Uh-huh.
an ex-Christian. I've done this
Uh-huh.
before.
Uh-huh. Do you sure you have any sign?
No, or else I'd be a Christian.
Or maybe you just didn't notice.
What is God so lame that he's not able to
Brother,
actually
look.
perform a sign that?
Brother, look.
No,
You are right now
no.
briefing. You are right now.
What's why is your God so weak and impotent that any sign he gives me goes unnoticed by me? Is he like that bad at giving me people a sign? He doesn't know how to unmute himself. Jesus Christ. Like, I don't think this is gonna go anywhere. I'll make sure to tug one out for Jesus later, but thank you for coming out. Anyways, thank you for the cowboy hat. Yeehaw! Okay, let's see. Who else do we got in the box? We got Matt Chalky Milk. All right, Matt, I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions I ask every single one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old or older?
Yes, sir. I'm Matthew. Nice to meet you. I'm 30 years old and I'm English and I'm from Portsmouth, England.
All right, question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Yes, sir. I'm a Christian.
All right, question number 3, what are your pronouns?
That's a complicated question. Matthew.
Isn't it?
Yeah, my pronouns are Matthew.
That's a proper noun. Yeah, that's a proper noun. That's not a pronoun.
Hey, there you go. Educate me on English, bro. Good idea.
You're English. You should know what English pronouns are. So, what is your pronoun? What pronouns do you go by?
I don't recognize the
Yes, you do.
pre-implication that I have a pronoun.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
No, I'm telling you
Yes,
that's
do.
how I.
Oh, here. Question number 4. Does God have a penis?
Right. So you're gonna ask me 4
Does God-
questions, and I can't
Yeah.
give you one.
Yeah. Does God?
Is that how
Yeah.
our
Does God have a
conversation
pe- No, you're gonna get through
Wait,
these.
is it one way?
You're gonna get through these.
Oh,
preemptive
preemptive.
questions, 'cause
Sorry.
I-
Okay,
thi-
right. So you're
yeah, these
categorizing
are-
me
yeah,
first.
these-
Right, ready.
Yeah.
No,
But does
Matt.
God-
See, hold on. I just need Matt to tell me what is on the left-hand top of the screen. Does it say
Oh.
Matt's live or does it say the Bible Guys live? Which one? Because I'm now
The
confused.
Bible guys, you're right. I humbly apologize. I overstepped my boundaries. Thank you
Okay,
for
so-
setting the boundaries out for me so I understand them.
Does God have a penis?
I refuse to answer that question. No comment.
Well, hey, if you refuse to answer it, I can just drop you and move on. I got someone else waiting. Oh. All right.
Sorry, I'm not playing that game.
We have here Yup. Hopefully Yup will do better than that. Yup, question number 1. Are you at least 18 years old or older?
Yes, I am.
Question number 2. Are you a Bible believer?
I am.
Question number 3. What are your pronouns?
He, him.
There you go. See, Matt? How hard was that? All right. Yup, I'm Dalton the Bible guy. I don't believe in the Bible. Why should I believe in the Bible?
And I think it starts by first, asking whether you believe in God or not. Because if
I don't.
not, then it's, I think that should be the focus, right? Because it's you can't
No,
believe in the
because
Bible
but
if you don't.
even if I believed in God, though, I still wouldn't believe in the Bible.
I don't know. I think I would beg to differ. Because,
Have you ever heard of the deist before?
yes, I've heard of a deist.
Yeah, I could be a deist and believe in God, and I still wouldn't believe in the Bible.
Okay, but understood. But it would be a component for it, right? It would be a prereq. Um, so usually people who are atheists, they just, of course, wouldn't believe in the Bible, right? Is that fair to say? But those that
Yeah,
believe in
yeah, I
God
have.
can have a
Yeah,
better probability of believing in the Bible. That's what I'm
I
trying.
don't think I think I wouldn't have a better probability in believing the Bible if I was a deist, because the Bible is incoherent.
Okay. So let me, I guess, start by saying like why I believe, right? So are you someone who believes that science can prove everything?
I don't know,
You don't know. Okay.
but I don't generally talk about science or philosophy on this channel. We only talk about the Bible.
Okay. And the reason I brought that up is because like science, the basis of science and religion is assumptions, right? So just like
Axioms.
I mean, just like science, you can't prove that the universe is real.
The science
right?
science is a science is a process. It's not assumptions. It's a type of system to finding truth. It doesn't ask the same questions that philosophy does.
Oh no, completely agree. Completely agree with you. I'm just
But
talking about
it's not built upon like assumptions unless you're like some sort of skeptic.
Well, you can't prove that the universe is real or not, right?
Well,
we just
you can't prove God is
I
real, and
experience
it deems both of us have a problem here, not just us. So I don't think you want to make that position your position either.
okay. It is my position because if the universe is real and orderly, that's the basis for our understanding. I accept it as a tenet, but it's an assumption that I accept, and that's the basis for where I start my belief in the Bible, right? So science and the Bible, they answer two different questions. So science is what is. And
So why should I
is
believe that
why.
the Bible is true?
Because I look at the Old and New Testament. In the Old Testament, I look at the civil, the moral, the priestly laws, and I see how it's consistent, with the New Testament. But I also see that the basis of, especially in the U.S., right, the basis of a lot of our laws are Judeo-Christian morals and values.
Two of our biggest laws here in America is the freedom of speech and freedom of religion, both of which are contrary to the laws of the Bible.
No, not necessarily, because government give unto Caesar the things that are Caesar, and unto God the things that are God, right?
Am I under the American system? Am I allowed to blaspheme?
Yes, you
Can
can.
we get a divorce?
Yes, but there's also in biblical times you could.
Can we commit adultery?
Uh, in biblical times you could, right?
No, you couldn't. You could get
No.
stoned if you
No,
do that.
no. There was.
I won't.
You
I,
could, but
I,
there was consequences.
yeah, I won't receive capital punishment for if I commit adultery.
It's not really like that big of a deal.
We've outlawed slavery. The Bible allows it. We treat women as equal members in society. The Bible treats them as property. So no, we do not base
Yeah,
our laws on the Bible.
So a lot of inaccuracies there, I would say.
None accuracies.
Well, was our laws were based or
On
founded.
Enlightenment values.
The founding fathers were deist, by the way. In fact, in the Treaty of Tripoli, it specifically was said that we are not a Christian nation.
But this is
I
all
don't-
this.
This has nothing to do with the Bible
Yeah.
and why we
All
should
the-
believe in the Bible.
Even if my country was founded on Christian values, and even if all the forefathers of America were horny for Jesus, that would give me no reason to believe that the Bible is true. It just means that they believe that the Bible is true.
Well, the reason why it's relevant is because so in the U.S., right? So we, much of our
What does this have to do with the question that was just asked?
Yeah, I didn't
well,
ask you
has a
whether
lot to do
the
with it.
question is the question is not is America a Christian nation? Couldn't give a shit about that as far as this live is concerned. My question is why should I believe the Bible is true? Like why should I think that the Exodus took place? Why should I believe that Moses existed? Why should I think that Jesus was the Christ?
Okay, and the reason why I brought that up is because we're under laws, right? U.S. laws, and how the laws were framed and how they were influenced
No.
dictates.
Well, not by the law of Moses. Again, irrelevant. Why should I think that the law of Moses comes from God?
Why should you think the law of Moses comes from God?
Yeah, you keep
so
wanting to have a debate about a topic that's not pertinent, that I didn't ask you to have a conversation on. I'm only here to ask the question of why should I, the Bible guy, believe that the Bible is true?
Well, that's what I'm getting to the heart of, right? So you were cultivated in an environment of laws.
I don't care. Did I ask if America was a Christian country? Yes or no?
No, but you want me to explain why you should believe, but you're saying I don't care about your explanation.
Other nations had laws prior to this. In fact, they had codes prior to even the Bible. This is not a concept that originated from America. I don't care if you're ethnocentric about how you view your nation. That has nothing to do with this conversation. Like
Yeah,
you
I
thinking
wouldn't-
the United States is so great when other countries prior to this and after it have free nations. In fact, on the freedom scale, when looking at our morals and codes, we rank low. This is not pertinent to the conversation.
I wouldn't care if America was a theocracy where the Bible was word for word the law of the country. That wouldn't tell me whether or not it's true.
I'm not able to make my point, so I can't. How can
Because
I?
you can't stay on topic.
That is on topic. It's just not.
Okay, tell me why I should believe the Bible is true, but don't bring America into it because it's irrelevant. Tell me why I should think the Bible is true.
Our environment is relevant to why we should believe that.
No, I don't care about the 21st century America.
If you claim that our environment has no influence over why we should believe things, then
You obviously don't want to have the conversation, so you can just fuck off. Oh God,
I feel like
I
that
have a
was about to
broken.
go into some like Western, aka white supremacist argument, anyways, and he didn't even realize it. Because saying like that America is so great, therefore we should believe in the Bible is like one untrue. I mean, we're pretty good. I'm not gonna like crap on it, but
Just-
like that.
All right, guys, can you guys hear me?
One second.
properly?
One second, guess.
Okay.
Just so everyone knows, I have a broken tooth. My molar is broken in half. I'm not putting up with shit today. All right, my dude, you have a lot of background noise. I need you to go somewhere quieter.
That's a little bit rough since I am currently working at the hospital. I'm in my break, so I wish I could have a nice debate with you guys. But if noise is a concern, I don't think I could manage it right now. Is there any chance that I could join in at another date, especially like given the circumstances?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. And I don't know. Let me see if I can. No, I don't think I can. Yeah. Okay. Well, I will be sending you a message then once I manage to do so. I'll probably give me around 15 minutes, and then maybe I can jump in if that's okay with you.
Okie dokie.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, let's see. Dalton, please get yourself some clove oil for the tooth pain. I don't have tooth pain. It's more like my tooth is broken to such a point, and now it's stabbing me in the side of my face. So that's why I have a piece of paper in my mouth right now, a paper towel. Let's see. Opium, go with opium.
And I'm like, clove oil can irritate the mucous membranes. By the way, guys, I know we like these, but there's it's it can cause like nausea, vomiting, and liver damage in certain amounts too. That's why we have to be careful about. I love holistic medicine. I love that type of medicine, but like there's precautions. Yeah.
All right, we have created two. Created, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. I ask all my guests, irrespective of who they are. You have to answer these 3 questions before we can move forward with the conversation. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old or older?
Yes.
Question number 2: are you a Bible believer?
Somewhat.
Okay, we'll dig on that in a second. Question number 3: what are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible guy.
I got a
don't
question,
believe in the
Bible guy.
Bible. Why
Bible
should
guy.
I believe in the Bible?
Bible guy. I was just gonna tell you that I had a problem with my tooth as well, and I found out that if you file it with a regular nail file, you file it to where the point is not bothering you anymore, and it'll work. I thought the same shit. I said, how? And when they tell you the filing, it fixed my problem. So if you have a nail file, a regular nail file, just slowly do the tooth until it's at a point.
And then
where it doesn't bother you.
expose the nerve, and then that's
Yeah.
gonna really
No.
hurt.
You're not gonna go that low. You're just gonna take that tip off that's bothering you. Just real.
This is fine as it is. I'm able to talk and
You got it. I just wanted to help you. I had the same problem for like a week. It kept cutting my skin, and then I found out that I could just file it with a nail file and it fixed the problem. All right,
yeah.
that's all I wanted to
But
say.
anyways, all right.
So-
Well, okay.
I'm
are you here
gonna
today?
go down and just listen to the show.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank you, bro.
All right, no problem.
All right.
Yeah, guys, I have a dentist appointment next Thursday. I've got some antibiotics to help me with the infection. They are huge.
Yeah.
It's been
Don't file your teeth, people, because you don't know how much enamel you have left, and if you file it off too much and expose a nerve, you're just gonna irritate that tooth anymore. Go see a professional if you can.
Yeah. It's been a while since I put something really big in my mouth like this, but anyways, we're going to talk to Jay. Let's see. Is Jay coming up? I invited them.
Oh, is Janice?
No, not that Jay.
Oh.
Unless it is, and they're using a different profile picture.
RFK approves, sir. Don't. Also,
RFK
yeah.
approves.
As Jay Debate says, spam the likes, follow the host, share the live, do all the things. Let's see if we can have some conversations that are on topic. And let's see how ticked off we can get Dalton today.
Oh, God. Liam is quoting Bible verses. Liam, I don't give a shit. You should come up and tell me why I should believe that the book of Revelation is worth believing. And Lone Drew, howdy hey. I did get called cute yesterday on one of Justin's super chats. I mean, it was by a dude, but still, it's nice to know I've got options.
Dalton, you are cute. Come on. Look at that face.
Anyways, let's see. Yeah, Aaron says, yeah, you did. Feel free to run. Yeah. Oh, we got a guest. Oh, and it's the J person.
Yeah, you shouldn't believe in the Bible because it's a mature piece of literature and it's not for people like you to read.
Oh, so we got a baby. Okay, baby, I have a question.
Yeah, we got a faggot.
Are you at least 18 years? Oh, yeah. Put that guy on display, everybody. Anyways, listen. I totally don't. I don't support you guys going off and bullying them or anything like that. Wink, wink. Don't do that. He's probably got a really crazy internet search history. Just saying. All right, Jonathan, I have 3 questions for you. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old or older?
Yes.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
I believe in the Old Testament. I'm Jewish.
All right, and question number 3, what are your pronouns?
Him, I guess.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible guy. Tell me, Jonathan, why should I believe in the Tanakh?
Should believe in the Tanakh? Because I believe it'll lead to you living a happier life. In the end, I think religion is one for yourself. You know, to lead yourself to have a happier life.
Are you?
Do you think if people
from-
followed the Tanakh as a woman, I would be better off?
It honestly depends, because there are many different people who believe in the Tanakh, right? In my synagogue where I go, women cover their hair, you know. They don't really lounge with men or pray in the same room, you know. There's obviously
So they
rules
don't. They don't have the same freedoms as men. In other words.
Hmm?
They don't have the same freedoms
they
as
do.
men. In other words.
No, they
If
do.
a
It's just
woman wanted to
custom.
walk around with custom, all right. Now, have you read the Torah? I mean, I suppose you would. If you go to
I've
synagogue
studied it.
every Shabbat. All right.
I
Now,
studied it mostly in school, so you could imagine,
now-
you know.
What is the Torah's position on slavery?
It's that you can own slaves, but there are specific requirements. I'm not sure if it was in the Tanakh, but there are. You can own slaves, but it has to be under specific rules. I'm pretty sure there's this thing called the Shemitah year, which is once every 7 years, where all slaves are freed from their masters, and if they want to continue it, then they have to go through this process, right?
Mm-hmm. You
And
can
also,
trick your slave
it's
into
not- and
remaining a slave forever.
Yeah, if he's
Yes.
his wife and kids.
Yes, but also
specifically.
Yes, but also if you want to, for example, many slaves back then were slaves because they didn't have a other choice, right? If I had a son and I wanted him to go to school, I would say, okay, I would go to a master and say, hey, I will be a slave to you until the next Shemitah
Now-
year, let's say in 5 years, if you were to pay
John-
for my son's tuition.
There's a problem here, Jonathan. You're only referring to like the servitude that comes along with like paying off a debt, but the Torah does also allow for the Israelites to go into foreign nations and take slaves,
Like the
buy
Canaanites
them.
and Amalekites.
Yeah. If you go into any foreign nation, you can make war with them. You can take them to be your slaves.
Not
You
every
think that's
foreign
good?
nation. It was specifically the Canaanites and Amalekites. Obviously, nowadays,
And,
They
and
weren't
again,
doing
this
that.
this wasn't the same for
And if you-
women or girls.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
had
yeah.
if you,
different
yeah.
rules.
Yeah. Are you? Or do female slaves go free?
do females go free? I'm not sure. I didn't study that, you know.
So so we read in Exodus, I think it's 21, as it read Ashlyn, that the man will go free, but the women never go free because the Torah never speaks about women going free.
Yep.
That you might have to go to either Rashi or the Mishnah, where it's basically rabbis having discussions about these topics.
Yeah, I don't believe in the oral Torah. I think it's a post. It's a Second Temple period like innovation. It didn't come from Moses on Mount Sinai. Zero reason to think it came from Moses on Mount Sinai.
All right. So, what is your position on just religion in general? You think it's
I think it's
evil? Do you think
It's a net negative. It can have some good benefits, but it's a net negative to human society. We would be better off without it.
I would disagree with you. I would say that religion helped people, at least in the beginning, to kind of form together to create societies. Wouldn't you say?
You can have that without religion. I mean, sure, that served a purpose
I mean, yeah, but
long
that's
time
part of
ago. It served a purpose a long time ago, but we don't need it today.
At least, I would say individually, it'd be a good thing to keep with you, individually
Why?
as one, right? Because you can get a lot of good things out of it, you know.
What
Some
what
moral
good thing
compass,
can I
and
get?
there are things.
I can get that without the Tanakh.
That's great then. So then you don't need religion.
So
Some people do need religion.
I don't have any good reason. I don't think they do, Jonathan. I think that people lean on religion because it's all they think that they have.
Comfort.
But there are better options like therapy.
Well, then also due to comfort, don't you think?
Yeah, you can get
Some
that from
people are
therapy
scared of,
and
well,
from- and
death
from
or what
love.
happened there, so they go to
Yeah.
for comfort.
They can go to therapy. They can get. They can learn to deal with their problems in a healthy way, instead of like leaning on something which is not demonstrable.
Demonstrable?
Yeah. So I don't think that comfort is a good reason to believe in the Bible. I think a good reason to believe in the Bible is if it were true, but I don't think it is true.
All right, that's fine. All right, but
Why should I think it's true, Jonathan?
you should. Well, it's up to you. You know, it's called faith for a reason.
Ooh, faith is pretty useless because you have faith, and it leads you to Judaism. Christians have faith and they believe in Jesus. Muslims have faith and they hold to Muhammad. If faith can get you to a correct answer, but also to incorrect answers, faith is about as useful as flipping a coin.
Yes. That is the point of it.
So faith,
It's what's
I
called
have
faith.
I have no use for faith. It's pointless to me
I respect that.
because I only want to believe in true things, and faith is not a good method for getting to the truth.
Interesting. Thank you so much for this conversation.
All right, you have a good day. Shalom Yehonatan.
Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Oh god. We have here Zappa. Zappa is back from the previous night. Just so I can get a reminder, Zappa, what is your age? Are you a Bible believer? And what are your pronouns?
Hi, so I'm actually 27 and I'm he, him, and I'm currently a Bible believer, but I just wanted to say that the other day I got on here and I was a little worked up because of my own personal feelings, and I just wanted to apologize for that to start off. And then secondly, I just wanted to say, I'm not here to debate. I really just wanted to say props to you for being educated and really doing your research on everything that you do speak on, because every time someone does come at you with a debate or a topic or scripture, you do respond with knowledge on it, and it's not just like surface level knowledge. It's actual studied knowledge where you actually have an understanding of the scripture. So props to you for debating in a proper way. And that's all I wanted to say.
Oh, much appreciated, Zappa. And I don't remember exactly what our last conversation was about, but obviously forgiven. Water under the bridge. So thank you for your kind words.
No problem, man. Hope you have a great day.
You too. Let's see. Our next guest is Just Trent. All right, let's see. Just Trent, I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions. I ask all the guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old or older?
Yeah, I'm 21.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
I am.
Question number 3, what are your pronouns?
He, him. And I'd
All
argue
right,
you have why should I believe in the Bible right here on your title, but I would argue that you should believe in God.
Well, that's not the question at hand, is it?
I know, but that's what I'm asking you. Like, do you believe in God, or do you believe in a higher power?
I don't, but even if I did, I wouldn't believe in Yahweh.
Why? Or if you don't mind, what brought you to that conclusion, if you don't mind me asking?
He's just an ancient Middle Eastern deity who is obviously not real.
I wouldn't argue that Middle Eastern is accurate, but I mean, this is to
He's from
people of
there.
all the nations, not of just one place or one religion. I mean, people too, like Christianity, man, we don't represent God. God does not need us. We don't do anything for him, but we have an opportunity to be here on this earth, on this planet, on this existence for each other and with each other. We're a community of people.
Yeah, so I would say, Yahweh was a Middle Eastern deity, and but the religion happened to be very viral and spread throughout the entirety of the world. But originally he was just a Middle Eastern deity, a desert god, a storm god, and he sort of climbed the ladder until he became the only god in the religion, because originally the Israelites were not monotheistic. So why should I believe the Bible?
I assume that you don't. I was listening. You don't have any faith in God, right? Like that was your stance. Would you agree that the Bible is historically accurate?
No, I would not.
Why?
It can be, but it has also a lot of historical inaccuracies. For example, the Gospels portray Jesus as being born during the reign of King Herod the Great and during the time of the census under Quirinius, but those were 10 years apart from each other.
To be completely real and to be completely honest with you, I'm not familiar with that, but I would say that, I mean, not even that I would say, separate from yourself, you don't believe that you were created, you believe that you were just put here by chance?
I wasn't put here, I mean, I was born.
But do you believe, do you think that humans were just chance, just some random thing that happened?
I think we are a natural byproduct of the universe.
Do you think that life can create life?
The chance was 100%.
think the question you meant to ask was, can life come from
Can
non-life?
yeah, there you go. See, you already know what I'm about to say, but
Just Trent,
yes.
Yeah.
is God alive?
Yeah. But God is also separate from
No, he's a
our
he's a
realm of
living
time.
organism.
Yeah. The living God of Abraham, Jacob,
He
Isaac.
has
I don't.
metabolism.
You said what?
He has metabolism.
No. That's separate from us. Like we're humans, like we have metabolism, we have a lifespan. God is infinite.
Yeah, she
There is
asked
no
if he
life.
was. She asked if he was an organism.
Yeah.
Oh no,
he
like
does.
I can't
So
physically
you
go out
also
and
believe.
touch God, but I can't
So
that
God's
doesn't
not
disprove
alive
the
in the sense that we
that does
are.
not
Because
disprove the existence.
well,
Just
no,
because
I'm
I
just
cannot
saying you
physically
also just Trent. You also believe that the life that we have here came from non-life. We're
No,
we
we came
believe
from
the
life.
same thing.
We
No,
came
he
from
has a
life,
different
we came from
definition.
intentional design.
He doesn't have a biological understanding of what life is. It's abstract for him. Yeah, the answer to your question, Just Trend, is of course life came from non-life because we have evidence of nature. We don't have evidence of a supernature. So until such a time as the supernatural can be demonstrated to exist, the only available answer for where life came from is through a naturalistic process.
I mean, you say that, but look at it in the practice. Like in this world, in this time, I mean, a cow can't go out and give birth to a pig.
No
Like
one believes. No, why? Why
that's
would you?
that's
No
it.
one believe. No one believes that. No one believes that.
Okay, well, I'm
I
just
don't
gonna
believe
use
that.
this
If a
as
cow
an
gave birth to
example.
a pig, that would make me believe in the supernatural
So, do
because
you
that can't
believe
happen
in
naturally.
evolution? Is that what you believe in? That we just evolved over
Evolution
time?
is not cows. Yeah, and evolution is not cows giving birth to pigs. That's magic.
I was just, hey, yeah, I was just throwing that out there. You know, I'll refrain. I'll use my words intentionally. So, we're here. But no, so
Yeah, evolution is a
you do not
fact.
believe in any Bible. You do not believe in my God or anybody else's God. I mean, there is only one.
No,
I'll tell you that.
I don't know. Well, according to your Bible, that's not true. But
I mean,
anyways,
there
I
is
don't believe.
there's
I
one
don't.
in three parts.
No, according to the Bible,
There
there are
is.
many gods. There are many gods according to the Bible.
There's one, the King of Kings, the one
No,
that's supreme.
according to Psalm 82, there's a high God, but he reigns over a council of
Exactly.
gods.
Just like how Jesus Christ, he was the
No,
servant,
no,
but he's also the Lord.
no. You're not.
It's all the
You're
same.
complete.
To get to the
I
Father,
need.
you
I
have
need
to
you.
get to the
No,
Son.
I need you to listen. I need you to listen to what I'm saying.
I'll listen to you.
According
What
to
do you got to say?
according to Psalm chapter 82, there are many gods, but there's a God who stands at the top of it all. But then there are many other gods, a council of gods below him.
Let me read Deuteronomy 32:8. When the Most High apportioned the nations, when he divided humankind, he fixed the boundaries of the peoples according to the number of the gods, as in plural. The Lord's own portion, as in Yahweh, was his people, Jacob his allotted share. This is the council of gods. There was El, or Elyon, and then there was Yahweh, and he was one of 70 gods.
Hold on, you're in the Bible. I'm actually bringing mine out right now. You said Deuteronomy where?
32. 8.
32 verse 8. 1 second, if you don't mind.
Yeah, and if you can actually see it in the notes, 32:8 traditional rendering of Elyon, because El Shaddai, Elyon, and then we're different names.
32 verse 8.
His translation's probably not gonna, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, I have the New Living Translation. That's not what mine says.
Oof.
Jesus.
Dude, you that's like, I'd care to venture that's actually worse than the King James Version Bible. And the King James Version
I
was
mean,
pretty bad.
I came in here the whole argument. Regardless, you don't have to follow a Bible. You don't follow the book. You don't rule the book. The book does not rule your life. God
shouldn't
rules
believe
your
the
life.
Bible.
You were
No,
blessed
I
with
don't believe
you
it.
were blessed with today simply because God allowed you to live today.
No, I was blessed with the day because I didn't die.
And
Because
so
I'm
what happens when you
Because
die?
I'm a bio nothing. The same thing that happened to me before I was born.
So you don't. There's no afterlife for you. You're just here, and then when you're here, what? You just frolic around.
While
That's
I'm
it.
here, I enjoy the fact that I'm alive.
You know, I can't change your mind off that. That's what you believe in. I mean, how old are you, man?
Sure, but
what's your name?
almost 30. But also, like, why should I believe Jesus was the Christ when he didn't fulfill a single messianic prophecy?
Because he separated the sheep from the goats to show you how to live. Hey, like,
No,
I
he
love
didn't.
you, even though that you disagree with me.
No,
Hey, that
Trent,
doesn't mean that
Trent,
you're
you
my
need to,
enemy.
Trent,
What?
that's a future event. The separating of the sheep and the goats is a future
He
event.
showed you the
According,
way. Jesus Christ is the
no,
way. He said to
no,
follow him,
dude.
not
Okay,
to
I need
follow
you
the
to
Bible.
interact with. I need you to interact with what I actually said.
What did
Jesus
you say?
could not be the Christ because he did not fulfill a single prophecy about the Messiah in the Old Testament.
What do you like? Okay, what do you mean? I want you to explain yourself a little further, if you don't mind.
So the prophets of the Old Testament gave predictions about the Christ, about the Messiah. Jesus didn't fulfill a single prophecy.
So you don't think that Jesus was God in flesh? Do you believe that he was
I
just a
said he
person?
wasn't the Messiah, but also, yeah, he wasn't God. But what I said, he wasn't the Messiah. Messiah and God are two different things.
I don't think I'm going to be able to change your mind or alter your
Yeah,
perspective,
it
no
does.
matter what I would try
It
to say.
it
You know
does
what I mean?
require you to have a certain level of knowledge about the Bible to have a conversation with me. Yes.
I mean, faith is more than just the Bible, though.
Yeah, I mean, you just believe in things because you believe in them, and I don't care about that. I only care about whether or not the Bible is true. But you don't seem to know the Bible.
But
well
you
enough to
just said,
defend
I
it.
believe in things because I believe in things. Do you believe that
No,
medicine works whenever you take it?
Yeah, because it's demonstrable. There's evidence to support that it actually works.
There's evidence to support that life was not created from non-life. Life creates
No,
life.
that's the default position. The
That's
only
not
way.
a default.
Yes,
Hey, I'm not a
yes,
little
yeah,
noob, dude.
until
No, there's no
until you
default
can
position.
Trent.
Like
Until
yes,
until you can demonstrate that the supernatural exists. All we have.
I'm a
evidence for
human
is that-
being. I cannot
that's
represent
not
and do the supernatural that God does. That is
Trent.
not for me.
Trent.
We're just
Trent.
people.
Trent.
God.
Until you can demonstrate that the supernatural exists, I don't have any reason to believe it exists. Therefore, the only thing that exists, as that you can demonstrate to me exists, is nature, and therefore the only explanation for where life came from would be a natural explanation. Until you can prove the supernatural, and faith is useless to me. You can unmute yourself now.
I am not supernatural. So how could any person who is not supernatural prove to you that that exists? And
That's your problem.
Is not, that is
That's
not
an
my
issue with
problem. That's
your-
not
yes.
your problem. I'm just asking. I'm having a conversation.
No, yeah, that's arguing in the sake of us. Literally, you're making an argument for us, saying that you have no idea how to explain this thing, where it came from, anything, but yet we do know the natural exists. I think you don't deny that the natural exists. Therefore, it is more parsimonious for
But
us to just say,
the absence of abundant evidence of the supernatural is why you do not believe in it. Like you just
I believe in things that have evidence for them.
I think there's plenty of evidence for a lot of things for my argument. I believe that you have your position. Y'all's minds are not trying to be changed, nor am I trying to change your mind.
Oh,
I just
no.
wanted to have
The
a
only-
conversation. And
Trent,
understand
the only
your
reason,
position. You know what I mean?
the only reason I'm an atheist today is because I listened to the evidence and had my mind changed. I'm more than okay with having my mind changed, but you just got to bring evidence.
No, I'm
to
not
the
trying to
table.
change your mind. I was just trying to have a conversation and understand your position.
What does the
I was
background
listening.
say?
You were on my feed.
What does the background?
I just wanted-
What
You
does
said
the
what?
background say?
Yeah,
What does
why
the
should I
background
believe in the
say?
Bible? And that's why I came in whenever I asked you, is like, why should you believe in the Bible? You should believe in God, not the Bible. Just like how
So
people
you-
who proclaim
So
to be
in other
Christian,
words, so
we
in other
do not
words,
represent
so
God.
in other
We-
words, so in other words, you just completely ignored the background and decided to come up here and bullshit with me about
conversation with you.
All right. Well, thank you for admitting that you didn't come here to talk about what the background is pertaining to. Thank you for wasting my time. All right. We have here Edward's dilemma. All right, Edward. I have 3 questions for you. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old or older? Edward. Oh, and they're gone. All right. Now we have Chosen. Chosen, I have 3 questions for you. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old or older? Oh, you're good,
Yes,
Edward.
sir, I am.
Chosen, are you a believer in the Bible?
Partially ish. Yes, but I don't know.
All right. Question number 3. What are your pronouns?
He, him, I guess.
All right. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I don't believe in the Bible. Why should I believe in the Bible?
That's kind of a hard question to answer for you exactly. I can tell you why I believe in the Bible, but I mean,
But that's not the question, though, is it?
okay, why should you believe in the Bible?
Mhm.
Let me phrase it this way. I mean, when you say the word believe, you mean like believe in everything that is like contextually written, or do you mean just believe in like in the morals of the stories, or the actual benefits you can get from some of the teachings? So
Like,
you mean
why should I
fully?
believe why should I believe in the claims of the Bible? Why should I believe that Jesus of Nazareth was the Messiah and the Son of God, and that He resurrected from the dead? Why should I believe that Moses existed, or Abraham, or that God gave the law to the Israelites? Why should I believe that the morals of the Bible are in fact moral? Yeah, why should I believe in the Bible?
Um, you should believe in it because you don't know what you're missing out on not believing in the
I do.
Bible.
I'm an
Are you
ex-Christian. I
sure?
know exactly what I'm an ex-Christian. I know exactly what I'm missing out on, and it's not
Okay,
much.
awesome. So let me ask you this: why would you go say agnostic, or you're just full atheist now?
Agnostic and atheist are not mutually exclusive propositions. I am an agnostic atheist.
But isn't that like contradicting though? Because an atheist doesn't believe in
No,
a god, and an
an
agnostic
atheist.
believes in God.
So atheist means I don't believe in a god. Agnostic means I don't have absolute knowledge and I don't know. Like, it could be a god, it might not be, but I definitely don't believe in a god, which is what makes me atheist.
Okay, for sure. Well, okay, so that's one of my reasons why you should believe in the Bible. Another one could be
Wait, what was the
just
reason? Oh,
that you
that I
don't
might
know
not.
what you're missing out on. But you
Right,
clearly said that
but
that's not true. You're an ex-Christian, so you do know
yeah.
what you're missing out on. So, can I ask you what that is?
Yeah, waking up too early on Sundays, is giving my money to pastors and talking to people that don't exist. I don't miss it.
Okay, so that's not what I was referring to. I was referring to, the overall sort
Uh,
of therapeutic,
no, I know what I'm not missing from it as a woman.
which would be.
Yeah, having men think that I'm lower than them because that's how the Bible frames, not having my opinions taken seriously because of what they considered my genitalia to be, and having a book that tells me that if I don't scream loud enough in a city, that I basically am at fault for my own grape. I mean, tons of stuff, really. I mean, Paul doesn't like us. Most of the text doesn't seem to care about our opinions or whether we consent to things, and that's still happens all the time in churches. So
Okay, I see. So you're saying you don't believe in it because of the misogyny and the
no, no,
way
no, no.
they.
That's not why I don't believe in it. Like, I could still believe in it and just think that God is evil, but
Mhm.
that's not why. You said, "What are we losing from it?" And I just answered that question. The reason why I don't believe in it is just because it's full of contradictions, and it seems to be, not very good. And Christians do claim that God is all benevolent, so it doesn't seem to be the case.
Right, right. So, look, when I answered your guys' question earlier on, do you believe in the Bible? Here's where I'm struggling with. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not a hardcore, preacher and guy standing on the street going, you know, repent or you're going to hell. Or I do see the faults in Christianity, the religion, because I do believe for the most part Christianity is a religion, and I don't believe that um, people are portraying Christ and the Bible as they should be accordingly, especially the way you just framed your guys' perspectives and opinions on the
But
religion of Christianity.
Christ said to
Personally,
follow the Torah, and the Torah is where all these things are about when.
right,
Yeah,
right, but this is where I was
Jesus would
going to
have
go
been
with this.
very Jesus would have been very religious, and he would have like agreed with the things Ashlyn just said.
No, but this is where I was going to go with this, that Christianity as a whole, in my point of view, is a religion now. and it was never intended to be a religion through what I've studied. I'm not a theologist. I don't know everything,
What do you think
according
religion
to the Bible.
is?
A religion is just a implement of doctrines and traditions and
Then
way of
yes,
life.
it was always intended to be a religion.
But no, because when you look at the way Jesus lived his life in the New Testament, it was supposed to be a sort of a moral conduct to follow Christ. It wasn't supposed to be a religion. That whole going
You
to
know what it
church on
was?
Sundays and
Well,
doing
no,
that.
he wouldn't have
I don't
believed
agree
it.
with the
Jesus,
Christian traditions at
Jesus,
all.
Jesus wouldn't have believed in going to church on Sunday. He would have believed in going to the synagogue on the Sabbath. He was extremely religious. He always taught his followers to live in accordance to the law of Moses.
Right, but didn't he get killed for supposedly breaking the law?
No.
So I mean,
No,
didn't he go against the religious leaders of that day for their
no,
misinterpretations of the law?
he called them out for being hypocrites and not actually doing what the law of Moses said to do. But no, Jesus was not killed for being obedient to the law of Moses. He was killed because he pissed off the religious leaders of his day for calling out their bullshit.
Right, so God is against religion.
No, he's
Jesus
not
is
against religion. He was against hypocrisy, not religion. He had no
He was
problem.
against the
He told
religion.
he
So
told
the
he told the
religious leaders
Pharisees
aren't.
he told the
Okay, go ahead.
Pharisees that they weren't actually being religious enough, that they were preaching religion, but they weren't actually doing what the religion taught. That was the whole. If you read Matthew chapter 23, Jesus tells his disciples that they should do everything that the Pharisees tell them to do, but that they shouldn't do what the Pharisees are doing because the Pharisees aren't actually keeping the law of Moses. So his problem wasn't with religion. His problem was with hypocrisy.
Hypocrisy because they were doing it in a religious format. They weren't actually
No,
obeying
they were
God.
being irreligious, not religious. They were being irreligious.
He goes
But couldn't
around
you?
telling, like, what do you think the Sermon on the Mount is? Like, he goes around, he doesn't break the Torah. He tells people to follow it, to follow the law. He says, not until heaven and earth are gone, that not one letter, not one jot of a letter are gone. He follows the Torah.
Okay, I see. So, all right, let me go back to the original question. Why should you believe in the Bible? So, if this is going to be a conversation about, what's that word I'm looking for? The inconsistencies in, the morality of God or the religion of Christianity, then, I have no point of being here. The original question was, why should I believe in the Bible? My answer to you was going to be because you don't know what you're missing out on. And you answered back with saying that, yes, I do. And you phrased it in a completely different, answer that I wasn't going to say. But my original answer was going to be, you're missing out on the personal relationship with God, right?
You
So,
can't
I mean,
have
you
you
could
can't
argue that
have
that's not true. And
you
I
can't have a
understand.
personal relationship with people that don't exist. I'm not 5 years
Right.
old
So, I
anymore.
mean, yeah, that could be your point of view. And through a Christian, I guess I would call myself a Christian maybe because the God that I sort of relate to the most, I've done my research in other religions. And truth be told with you, I don't know which one could be true or which one cannot because, I mean, there's thousands of religions, right? The one I personally have found sort of the relatable one, which is the one that I experienced without even knowing the Bible. But personal experience doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. Because I mean, I can't prove to you God is real. You're not going to prove to me He's not through my personal experience. But I
I
will
could.
tell you this:
Why should here? How about this? Why should I think that Jesus was the Messiah?
the Messiah. I mean, I can't argue against it because I'm going to point to biblical facts, and you don't believe in the Bible. So
Yeah,
the moment I start,
even let's pretend for a second that I believed in the entirety of the Old Testament.
no, but
Why should I think?
how can we pretend if you don't, though? I mean,
No,
honestly,
I can pretend. Trust me. I can pretend to believe in God and to believe in the entire Old Testament. Why should I think Jesus was the promised Messiah of Israel?
again, I can't really even give you facts for that because we can't even pretend if you don't believe. Even if you
I
say,
can
You
pretend.
can,
no,
you
you
can,
can't, dude.
I
you can
can.
say, you can go to a prophecy
Okay,
and
let me
tell
tell
us
you guys
what
this again. Let me tell
prophecy.
you guys this again. I'm not a
Okay,
theologist. I'm not even 100% sure
okay,
if I'm fully Christian. So I give you my answer, dude. You know, good. I mean, good luck to you. Hopefully, you find some guys that are willing to debate you on why you should believe or you don't believe in the Bible. But that was my answer, brother. I appreciate the time. Thank you for having me on, and good luck to you guys in your guys' debate. Have a good one.
You too. Hopefully, we can get a guest up here who actually like knows the Bible. All right, we have Zach. Zach, I have 3 questions for you. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old or older?
Yes, sir.
Question number 2: do you believe in the Bible?
I do.
Question number 3: what are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right, I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I don't believe in the Bible. Why should I believe in the Bible?
Nice to meet you, Dalton. I was requesting when Trent was up, and I just wanted to kind of bring my understanding to a couple verses that were mentioned. Like, for one, the multiple gods one in Psalms 82, and then the second one would be the wife submitting to your husband's one.
Sure. Just so you know, just a fair warning. We'll talk about Psalm 82. But before you say anything, just so you know, I don't allow people to insert things into the text that aren't there. So if you're going to make a point about what the text really means, you have to prove it from the text itself. So why would I think that Psalm 82 is not talking about multiple gods?
Because the word that it was translated from in Hebrew was Elohim. Elohim means gods as well as judges and rulers. So I don't believe that.
No.
Go ahead.
It means gods exclusively.
The Hebrew word Elohim, it means God, one true God, or it also could mean spiritual beings under God's authority, as well as human rulers, judges, or leaders.
From a Christian perspective, but that's not how it's meant in the text or used in the text. You're not translating that word correctly.
If you look up the Elohim translation,
if the author wanted to say judges, he would have used the word shoftim, which is the actual Hebrew word for judges. If he wanted to say kings, he would have said melachim. If he wanted to say angels, he would have said malachim. There are plenty of words for these things, but Elohim means God when referring to like the God of Israel, and it means gods when referring to other deities, and that's its full semantic range.
It also says in that verse, like men you shall die, but gods do not die.
Well, they do. You might not be very familiar with the way in which ancient Middle Eastern like deities work, and just deities in general in the ancient world. Gods could die. This could happen in the ancient world.
Okay, well, I understand. I guess I'm not really familiar with that aspect of it, so I wouldn't be debating you with that part.
Yeah, 14th century BC, like Ugarit, there was El and Atharat. They had 70 sons. Like Baal was a storm deity, Yam, sea god, Mot was the god of death, and then Yahweh was another storm deity. And they're kind of like believed Yahweh probably came from like Edom, which would be now like southern Jordan. And like this can be seen throughout the text. If you're interested in studying it, and we know this, that God was like, it was probably multiple gods. It was a monolatristic, meaning Yahweh was held to a higher degree, and then it became more monotheistic as time went on. And you see this kind of by 19th century BCE more firmly because of Exodus 6:3. So that's something that's accepted in the scholarship.
Yeah. Now, in regards to gods dying, 2 prominent examples in the ancient world, thank you, yeehaw, of gods dying would be, for example, if you read the Descent of Inanna. Inanna was a fertility goddess in ancient Mesopotamia. There's a story about her descending into the underworld, where she is killed by the god of death, and then she's hung on a wall, and she remains dead for 3 days and comes back to life. And of course, there's the myth of Osiris, where Osiris's brother Set kills him, and then Osiris's lover Isis has to gather his body parts and assemble him back together for him to come back to life.
Where are these
in the ancient world?
Just so I'm educated on.
Egypt and Mesopotamia. So we're talking about the ancient Near East.
Okay, and are these like Bible verses that we're talking about, or are they from a different book?
They're from like local legends and myths surrounding the Israelites.
So legends and myths.
Yeah.
Similar groups of people.
Got you. Well, props to y'all for being educated. I will say I've read the New Testament, but I haven't gotten through the Old Testament yet. I'm in Psalms right now, so I just wanted to discuss my current knowledge on that. But I'd also like to discuss the Ephesians 5:22-25. Wives, submit to your husbands. That verse and my understanding on that as well, just so we can both
Yeah.
share.
Sure,
our-
I'll let you
Is it-
talk to the woman. And
Yeah,
share
I
why she
like
should
I like
submit.
talking to people because the more we're talking, the less violence there is. I feel like we should all understand each other, and like it's good to have perspectives and opinions on things and be respectful. I don't really. There's a lot of lives I scroll across where everyone's just being really hateful, but I really like just being able to understand each other's opinions peacefully. So I was just gonna give you
Sure.
mine.
So explain to Ashlyn, who is a woman, why she should submit as a woman.
Because I don't. In the Bible, it says wives submit to your husbands in Ephesians 5:22, and in Colossians 3:18, wives submit to your husbands as is fitting with the Lord. Husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them. I believe that in this verse, you're submitting to each other in an aspect of reverence for Christ, not for husbands being superior over their wives, but as to reverence for Christ. Like my grandpa was the kind of guy who was like, yeah, my wife should submit to me, all that. My family's non-believers, so they don't really like the way that he thought of it. But I feel like there's a lot of verses in the Bible that have so much that you have to really dig into and research to be able to understand the truth of it. Like for the verses about slaves and stuff. In Ephesians 5:21, it says, submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. And Colossians 3:18, wives, submit to your husbands. But if you go to Ephesians, it's saying submit to each other, not just to your husbands.
Yeah, but Paul also contradicts himself in this matter. If you believe that these are all Paul, I don't think that's the scholarly protected. But even if you did, right? Paul goes on and tells us in Timothy on that women should remain silent and submissive, and that our way to salvation comes from childbearing, which is utterly ridiculous to say. And also, this is Paul speaking. I don't think as a Christian you get your theology from Paul. I think that you get it from Jesus, and Jesus himself says to obey the Torah, and Torah specifically has horrible things to say about women. The Torah says that like I had said earlier, that I am at fault for my grape if I don't scream loud enough for people to hear me. It says that if I'm not a virgin upon my wedding night and I cannot bleed, that I should be stoned to death.
I
mean, if you
apologize
want
for
to take,
interrupting, but could you tell me, I'm not educated on the verse which it says to believe in the Torah. I don't personally go by the Torah.
Matthew 5:17.
Okay, let me pull that out.
And also, there's not a single case in the Gospels where Jesus breaks the Torah.
Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them.
I truly tell you, until heaven and earth pass away. Is heaven and earth still here?
Hold on, let me grab my Bible. I looked it up, but this translation's not the one that you're reading. Just one second.
Yeah, I would use the NRSV UE. That's the one accepted by scholarship journals.
So actually, give me that verse just one more time.
Matthew 5:17.
Do not think that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
For I truly tell you, until heaven and earth pass away, not one letter, not one stroke of a letter will pass from the law until all is accomplished. Therefore, whoever breaks one of the least of these commandments and teaches other to do the same will be called the least in the kingdom of heaven, but whoever does them and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and the Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. And he goes on to talk about the laws concerning anger, to talk about the laws concerning adultery, divorce, oaths, etc. He's affirming the Torah. It's called building the house around the Torah. He doesn't break a single law.
That's
Also in the same chapter, it says if your right eye causes you to sin, pluck it out. I don't think that every single thing in the Bible should be taken literally, like as in like.
I
I
don't.
also believe that he's talking about the Ten Commandments in that verse.
I do
not the
believe
Torah.
that not
no.
every.
He says the law.
He says the law. Yeah, it's law with capital L. So no, I don't think that he speaks in parables quite often, but he is talking about the law. Jesus affirmed that of the law. He followed it and he taught others to do such. That's the problem, is that you use Paul to argue this, but you don't follow Paul, or at least you're not supposed to. You're supposed to be following Jesus. And Paul says awful things.
Paul does say some. Paul's a character for sure.
Yeah. But Jesus, no. Jesus tells you to follow the Torah. He was a first century Jewish man. Why wouldn't he?
I got
Yeah,
you.
he said
I won't lie. You have more knowledge on that than I do for sure, and I'll definitely research that and hopefully come back one day with more knowledge on it to give you a better conversation about it, because I have a lack of knowledge on that direct topic.
Just
So my apologies.
John 8 wasn't original to the text, because you might see that a lot. But even if it was original to the text, he wouldn't be able to stone her, because the Torah says to stone them both in Deuteronomy. So it would have been a trick. So he was still following the law in John 8, because you're probably going to see that one used a lot.
You talk about the woman in the adultery in John.
Adulteria? Yeah, or adult. I can't say that correct. Yeah, John 8.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Well, I'll look into both of those. I
right.
unfortunately have a meeting in 7 minutes I have to run to, but I will hopefully be back sometime tomorrow to talk to you more about it. I appreciate both of your time.
Absolutely. You have a good day, Zach.
All right, you have a good day.
By the way, is my speech being impeded by the paper towel on my tooth?
No, you sound the same to me.
Good. All right. Now we have Your Echo. Your Echo, I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions we ask of every guest, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old or older? Echo. Echo. I mean, now I sound like an echo.
Sorry, that was an accident. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, they sounded like they're underwater too.
They said they came up on accident.
Oh.
All right. Let's see. We have here truth in the light. I'm always wary anytime I see someone with the word truth in their username. So, truth in the light. I have 3 questions for you. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old or older? They're still loading in. They might not have a good connection. We'll give them a second, everyone. So keep tapping the screen and share the live with everyone you know. And if you haven't already, make sure you go and subscribe to my YouTube channel, the Bible Guy YouTube channel. We have only been a YouTube channel for 1 week, and we've already got over 500 subscribers. The closer I get to being able to monetize the channel, the closer I'll be able to get a better mic setup. And maybe one of these days I'll have a setup as professional as Justin Deconstructions. Let's see. Well, they are not going to be able to come up, so we'll just move on to the next guest. We have Walk on Water. Jesus Christ. Walk on Water. Question number 1. Are you at least 18 years old or older?
We spoke to them before.
Yeah, I was up a couple of days ago. I'm 23.
All right, and you're a Bible believer?
I have to be. I'm a Roman Catholic, so.
All right, and your pronouns?
He, him.
All right. You know me, I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. I don't believe in the Bible. Why should I?
Yes, so so many things we could talk about. I want to pick up with the last conversation you were just having with that guy because I believe you guys have a wrong interpretation of Matthew 5. So I'd like to talk about that with you first, but yeah, I mean, I'd like to go into like deeper things because I know, obviously you guys have a lot of problems with the Bible. So let me tell you this about Matthew 5. Why did you guys stop at verse 20?
I didn't. I read the whole
I don't. I've read the whole thing. Jesus goes on to do what's typical of rabbis in that period, and that he builds a fence around the Torah. He gives, for example, the base command, like for example, do not commit murder, and then he goes on to build a fence around the command, saying things like, "But I say to you, do not even be angry with your brother without a cause." So this is not contrary to the Torah in any way. This is what we call in Judaism building a fence around the Torah.
Okay, that's like a rabbinic way of saying it. Maybe I've never heard that specific phrase before, but obviously I believe Jesus gives the true interpretation and explication of the law and prophets. So I believe that here when he says that I come to fulfill, not to abolish, then he goes on to show you what he means by fulfill, and he tells you.
No. I just want to know: do you have a stance of in the Gospels? Does Jesus ever break the Torah?
No, of course not.
All right. Now, do you understand what the word fulfill meant within a Jewish context? Like, do you know that Jewish people often speak about fulfilling the law? That has a very specific meaning within a Jewish context.
In what era of Jewish theology?
During Second Temple Judaism.
Second Temple Judaism. What did they?
To fulfill the law means to keep it, to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that doesn't change anything about what I've already said. Jesus taught that he did not come to abolish the law, but to keep it, and then tells his disciples that they should not break the least of the commandments, and that the Torah would not be abolished until heaven and earth passed away. So
okay, so then can I ask you a question? So why do the apostles immediately go and start saying things like the old covenant is obsolete, Gentiles don't need circumcision or the Torah, Christ is the end of the law?
I don't think they really said. I don't think they really said that. Also, Paul was.
You don't believe that?
Yeah, because Acts is not true. Acts isn't really true history, but even then, like you see, like James telling Paul that he needs to go and perform the Nazarene oath in order to demonstrate that he is not teaching against the law of Moses. So clearly, Paul was just a renegade. The disciples said not to eat food that was sacrificed to idols. Paul obviously taught different than that. He was a bit of a renegade and had his own bit of theology. But Jesus never taught against the law of Moses, and told his disciples not only to keep the law of Moses, but after his resurrection said that to teach all nations to obey everything which I have commanded you, which would include his commandment to observe the law of Moses.
Okay, but you realize a lot of parts of the law of Moses are conditional on Israel's fate, right doing. It's conditional. So if Israel does this, then God will bless them do this. If the Israel doesn't do this, then He won't do that. Right?
But that's not according to much of the law that we're speaking of. Neither is it. Like, y'all follow the 10 Commandments as Christians. Y'all hold those to be. Those are part of the Old Testament. Those are part of the law.
They follow 9 of the 10 Commandments.
They claim
they don't follow the Sabbath. They don't keep the Sabbath law.
We do believe we keep the Sabbath. We don't keep Israel's Sabbath. We keep God's Sabbath.
Yeah, Sabbath is, the word Sabbath means seventh day. Yom Echad, Yom Echad, Yom Sheni, Yom Shalosh, Shom Arba, Shom Chamash, Shom Shesh, and Shom Yom Shabbat. So it says the seventh day. You don't keep the 7th day, so you don't really keep the commandment for what it says. You have your own theology that allows you to observe the first day and not the 7th day.
Yeah.
So Jesus taught to observe the Torah. Christians don't observe the Torah. Therefore, Christians don't really do what Jesus commanded. You're more followers of Paul than anything.
Yeah, I think Paul and Jesus are perfectly aligned, though. Obviously, that's
They're
not
not.
what we believe as Roman Catholics. Well, how do you
I mean,
explain?
of course.
So, I mean, you guys, yeah, you guys know lots of you guys know lots of arguments about the text. Can we can we talk about like the existence of God, or we can keep talking about the
You're
text?
the one
If,
who
are we
wants
We're
talking?
almost done with the
this
text.
conversation.
I know.
Well,
I said
if
Matthew
you
5.
if you begin to talk to me about the existence of God, I'm going to hold God to be Yahweh. And if you say something about the God you believe in that is contrary to the Bible, I'm going to point that out.
Yeah, but I think your interpretation of the Bible, you're pulling it a lot from modern rabbinic Judaism. I know you
No.
mentioned you quoted one idea from Second Temple Judaism that fulfill meant to, build a fence around the Torah.
When do you think
That's
Yeah,
the
something.
temple period was?
that's because Jesus was a rabbi. When I talk about the Hebrew Bible, for example, I don't really care about much about what the rabbi said. I just mentioned that Jesus was performing a rabbinic practice. I don't interpret the entirety of the Bible through the lens of rabbinic Judaism. There's a lot of things that rabbinic Jews teach that I vehemently teach
Yeah,
against.
I know that. I know that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I have a different. I think we as Roman Catholics have a different definition of fulfill than you do. So,
I think I would much prefer thinking of it of how Jesus would have meant it instead of what hundreds
yeah.
of years later people came up with.
Well, that's debatable. Let's talk about the history because that's something that we can is in the more secular field. Let's talk about the historicity of the Catholic Church. Can we talk about that?
Sure, I think the Catholic Church slowly evolved over hundreds of years. It didn't exist in the first century. The Nazarenes
It did.
were Torah observant followers of Jesus, but slowly as Gentiles grew in number within the church, and Paul's Christianity became the most prominent form. Um, that's when you slowly get the building of the Catholic Church over hundreds of years.
Well, yeah, you say that because you don't think Acts is true history, but Acts is true history.
Correct. No, it doesn't even agree with Paul.
Okay, where does Acts contradict Paul?
Sure. According to the Acts of the Apostles, well, actually, let's just go with Paul's own testimony first. Paul says that he had a revelation of Jesus, and that he interacted with no one, and that he went to Arabia, and then only then did he go to Jerusalem.
Well,
Does
that's
the
not
Acts of the
true.
Apostles?
Because when he was blinded, Jesus told him to go into Damascus, and there would be a man there who would remove his blindness. So he didn't talk to nobody.
Well, now you're talking about Acts. I'm talking about what Paul says.
And after
At what point-
after he went to Arabia,
At what point in Acts of the Apostles does Paul go to Arabia?
it doesn't have to be included in Acts. Just because you're
Okay.
arguing from silence.
Did Paul have any collaboration with any Christians while he was in Damascus? Because Paul says he didn't
Right.
talk with anyone about Christ.
There was a Christian removed his blindness, the scales on his eyes.
All right, then that disagrees with what Paul says. Paul says he didn't have any interaction with any believers.
Where did he say that?
In the letter to the Galatians, chapter 1, when he gives his testimony about his coming to know Jesus. Let's see. For I would have you know, brethren, that the gospel which was preached to me is not man's gospel, for I did not receive it from man, nor was I taught it, but it came through a revelation of Jesus Christ. For you have heard of my former life in Judaism, how I persecuted the church of God violently and tried to destroy it. And I advanced in Judaism beyond many of my own age among my people. So extremely zealous was I for the transgressions of my fathers. But when he who had set me apart before I was born had called me through his grace, was pleased to reveal his Son in me, in order that I might be preached among the Gentiles, I did not confer with flesh and blood, nor did I go up to Jerusalem to those who were apostles before me, but I went away into Arabia, and again I returned to Damascus.
Yeah.
So Paul's own description is that Jesus was revealed to him. He conferred with no one, went to Arabia, then back to Damascus, and then only then, 3 years later, did he go and visit Cephas in Jerusalem.
Yeah. He never spoke to the apostles until after he went to Arabia, but you asked if there was a single Christian who he associated with after his experience.
He did not say, I did not confer with any apostle. He said, I did not confer with flesh and blood. No person.
That's a good point.
By the way, this is the
So
consensus
what is
of most
considered?
scholars today.
It means he didn't talk to a single person
Yeah,
because
he didn't
because any
interact
other
with anyone
account
and
they give.
get any information on the gospel from anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of passages like this, like, the different accounts of Judas's death, etc.
Hmm.
And obviously, we believe that, both of stories are from different, you know, not necessarily direct eyewitnesses, but people who were alive during the time and they wrote down the stories, and it may just be a different detail of the same story. So
Really,
obviously, we
who
have.
purchased the who purchased the field of blood?
I know you think there's a contradiction,
There
but
is a
we don't believe there's
contradiction.
a contradiction. We believe it can be,
Who purchased it?
logically. I know in one account it says something different, brother.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not willing to make the text say something it doesn't say. I'm only willing to take the text for what it plainly says.
I know. That's a reasonable uh principle. But I'm just saying, obviously, we've synthesized all of these quote unquote errors,
Yeah,
or
it's a post hoc rationalization of the text.
yeah, you could say that. You don't
So
believe
why
in
should I
God.
believe? Yeah, but even if I did,
That's
I
it.
wouldn't believe in Yahweh.
Yeah, well, and you even think Yahweh's a pagan storm deity. You
Yeah, originally.
yeah. So would you? Let's go to. I know this is jumping way off topic. I would like to talk to you about scriptures, but you honestly, the fact it's embarrassing on my part that I'm a Catholic and you know scriptures better than me. But besides the point, I want to ask you about something. Do you think? What is your opinion on the beginning of the universe? Do you think there was a beginning or
No, no beginning.
no beginning? The universe is eternal.
Yeah, yeah. Matter cannot be created nor destroyed. And you can't get something from nothing, and there clearly is something. Therefore,
Yeah,
there was never nothing.
that's a that's a sound philosophy. I don't know how to poke holes in that, to be honest with you. Yeah.
But even if I believe the universe had a beginning, and even if I believed in God, like if I was a deist, that
You
God
would
clearly
believe
isn't
God of the Bible.
Yahweh. Yeah, because God of the Bible clearly is depicted in a very different way than the God of classical theism. Really, what Catholics believe in is not the God of the Bible. They believe in Aristotle's prime mover mixed in with Yahweh to form a new deity.
Uh, yeah, obviously we don't believe that. I don't think that's true history either. But how would you prove that that's true history?
I mean, does the Bible describe God as the prime mover? And does it to use the words of classical theism to describe the God of Israel? But
Yeah.
Aristotle used those words, but does the Bible?
So, as in the prime mover, you mean the creator of the universe?
Yeah, someone who creates something from nothing.
Yeah, yeah. We believe
That's
that.
not in the Bible. It's not in the Bible.
Yeah, it doesn't teach us
You're
nihilo.
gonna say Genesis 1 doesn't teach creation from nothing?
No, it
There were
doesn't.
things
So
already present.
There
there are
was
three
also
things
water.
that yeah, there were three things that are present when God begins his act of creation, namely the earth, the darkness, and the waters. Because
Yeah.
Genesis 1:1, when translated properly, would be more like, if you wanted to translate it very literally, would be, in the beginning of God creating the heavens and the earth. Well, that's an incomplete sentence. The earth was without form and void or chaotic, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and
Yeah.
the Spirit of God hovered upon the surface of the waters. And then God
Yeah.
said, "Let there be light." Genesis isn't God creating something from nothing so much as it Him organizing pre-existing matter and giving it form and function.
Okay. And I assume you've heard of the Genesis 1 to 2 gap.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
Okay.
Because again, Genesis 1 isn't a complete sentence in the original Hebrew. It's a temporal clause. Genesis 1 through 3 is the complete sentence.
Hmm.
If you wanted Genesis 1 to be a complete sentence, it should say something to the effect of Ba Rishon, um, Berishon bara Elohim et hashemayim ve'et haaretz. But instead he uses the Hebrew word Bereshit, and Bereshit always means in the beginning of.
You're saying the Jews didn't believe that God created the universe from nothing?
No, that was not a belief that the ancient Israelites held to.
Well, did
That
any
kind of belief that
Middle Eastern people believe that?
no, if you were to look at the majority of ancient Near East, like the Egyptians, the Mesopotamians, the Canaanites, and the Israelites, they all had a very similar belief that they all believed that the gods, formed the world from chaotic primordial waters.
Yeah, they did. So, do you think it could be fair to say that Genesis 1 is written in a way that the ancient Near Easterns that it was written for would understand? And it's maybe not an exact scientific account of the full creation of, the universe and the earth and the heavens, which obviously we take as the whole universe, and I think the ancients probably did too.
I think it's an ideology, right? Like, it was an explanation of the world around us rather than like trying to explain where we came from. It's like, why do women have pains during childbirth? Why?
Well, that's the second creation myth, Ashley, and in Genesis 2. Genesis 1 served a different function. So, as Ashley, there are two creation myths in Genesis. There's Genesis 2:4 all the way to the end of chapter 3, which, as Ashley just pointed out, is an ideology, and the ancient Israelites would have thought of it as being the way that God actually created the world. But Genesis 1 is more poetic and drawing upon Babylonian sort of creation motifs
it's
in
very
order to say something about God.
Yeah, it's very similar to the ancient Near Eastern myths, but it's obviously politicized for belief in one God.
Yeah. So when we look at the 6 days of creation in Genesis 1, days 1 through 3 correspond to days 4 and 6. God creates on day 1 the light. On day 4, he creates the ones who govern the light. Day 2, he creates the waters above and the waters below. Day 5, he creates the beasts of the air, and the beasts of the sea, both of which are water. So on and so forth. It's meant to symbolize that creation is harmonious and balanced.
Okay. And did you know the symbolism of like the waters above and below the earth in the ancient Near East as well?
Yeah, they thought that there were waters above the dome, and that's where rain came from.
Yeah, that was their concept of the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe, our interpretation of these texts is that it's, written to them in a way that they can understand, and there's still a meaning that we can attract from it, but maybe per se it's, not the account that, a modern day person like you would be looking for to prove that God created everything from nothing.
Yeah, it's clearly mythology.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just hard because we have such different underlying beliefs and beliefs about what true history is, what truth is, what goodness is.
Well, I would say truth is just that which reports the reality.
Yeah, and I would say reality is Jesus Christ, which you would obviously not agree with.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus didn't even fulfill any messianic prophecies. He wasn't the Messiah, let alone being the source of all reality.
That's what the rabbis say, but the early Jews and the early Christians who followed him and like created the Catholic Church, which ended up taking down the Roman Empire, which obviously that was the only factor. I'm not saying it was, but replaced the Roman Empire and became the dominant religion of the Middle East, Europe, and North Africa.
Sure, but they continuously if I, as someone who's neither Jewish nor Christian, just reading the Hebrew Bible for what it plainly says, I think the Jewish people, for the most part, not always, but for the most part, have the correct understanding of what these prophecies and even texts that aren't actually prophecies actually say. Like Jesus
they had a pretty good understanding, and I think they thought a lot of passages that even you would now argue with me that aren't about the Messiah were about the Messiah. And I think, the Old Testament does prophesy of a coming servant, one person who, receives...
Not one person.
One person, yeah.
No, Isaiah 53 describes the servant as a plural of persons.
I know you think it's Israel, but...
the text explicitly refers to the servant as a them in the plural.
Yeah, but there's Jewish scholars who will disagree with you, Hebrew scholars who will disagree with you on that.
Who?
That Israel is only referring to the nation of Israel as a plural. Maybe the grammar is the same. It's the same word throughout the
No,
entire book, I believe. But
yeah, the word used for the servant in Isaiah 53 is lamo.
yeah,
Lamo always means multiple people.
okay. Well, I actually believe that Jesus is multiple people in a way, so I guess that might not contradict my belief.
Schizophrenic Jesus. All right. Well, I mean, it doesn't look like there. Do you have anything else you'd like to present to help me believe the Bible is true, or is this the end of our conversation today?
I mean, I don't know if I can convince you, but I was gonna go to Daniel 7 next to show that it is one person who receives authority, and that was universally agreed to be the Messiah, and essentially universally agreed to be the Messiah in Second Temple Judaism.
I think that each of the 5 entities presented in the book of Daniel chapter 7, the 4 beasts and the one like a son of man, are all representative kingdoms with their respective kings at the head. So you can make the claim it's about the Messiah, but I'd say it's not just about Messiah, it's about Messiah and all his kingdom.
Yeah. You just use the modern rabbinical interpretation.
No, that's just my reading. I don't know if that's the rabbinic interpretation, but that's just my reading, because we get 4 things which are like a lion, like a bear, like a leopard, and we got this one who's like a son of man, and I don't think it's meaning that the Messiah will literally fly in on the clouds of heaven one day. I think it's more of a
Well, that's a
representation
symbol of the power of God.
Yeah, I think it's just a representation of
A king with
the king of it, the king of Israel and his kingdom.
Well, Jesus
who
is the king of
will-
Israel, and he has a kingdom that he established 2,000 years ago.
He has never once ruled as king of Israel. We have no demonstrable evidence of this.
Well, he didn't have to rule. He rules as the king of Israel from heaven.
As a spiritual, yeah. I mean, that's exactly what I would say if I wasn't actually the king of Israel. I would say something silly like, "Well, my kingdom is not of this world." Like, that's exactly what you would say if you were actually not the king of Israel.
Yeah. He wasn't the physical king of the nation of Israel in the first century. They actually
Yeah,
killed
so-
him for, that was the reason that they wanted to try to get him killed, was for claiming to be king. And obviously that was a crime under the Roman authority, and the Romans were the only one who had the permission to
Yeah.
get him.
So as far as the data is concerned, no reason to think that Jesus is the king of Israel. He's just another. He's like Bar Kokhba. He's just another failed king.
Well, the true Israel is spiritual Israel, but you don't believe in spiritual. You don't believe in spiritual
No, I
realm.
think it's a cope. I think it's a cope.
Well, it's the belief. It's an ancient. I mean, all the ancients believed in the spiritual realm.
Yeah, you certainly wouldn't see anything in the Hebrew Bible about there being a spiritual Israel. This is just the New Testament's way of coping with the fact that Jesus didn't do the things that he was supposed to do as Messiah.
Yeah, I mean, that's your belief. I don't believe that's true.
Look, this has been an interesting conversation, but I don't think it's really going anywhere. But walk on. Thank you for coming on and talking with us today.
Yeah, no problem. You have a good rest of your day.
You too. All right. Let's see. We have another guest. We got LaCraig Climbs. Craig, I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions I ask all my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old or older?
Yes, I am.
Question number 2, do you believe the Bible is true?
Yes, I do.
Question number 3, what are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I don't believe in the Bible. Why should I believe in the Bible?
Yeah. Do you have any belief in any sort of God or anything like that, or where are you at as far as it goes?
Nope, I am currently an atheist.
Okay. And I think I heard you mention that you don't believe in a beginning.
Yeah, correct.
Is there any particular reason why you don't believe in a beginning?
Yeah, because you can't get something from nothing. There is something, therefore there was never nothing.
Okay, so what is the basis of like how everything was created to begin with, or what was it?
It wasn't created to begin with. The
Yeah.
universe has always existed.
So what was it before it kind of came into order, I guess? Any ideas there? Or?
Personally, I hold that to the standard model that most people are sort of going with nowadays, that the universe goes through periods of contraction and inflation.
Okay, so like the universe expands, and then gravity will eventually pull it back in towards the center of the universe, right? And then everything would reset.
Yeah.
Okay. And I assume, correct me if I'm wrong, the thought there is that after enough times, we would have accidentally run into what we know today as order in the universe, right?
What we perceive to be order, I suppose. I mean, you get enough instances of the universe expanding and contracting, and you're bound to get this. Although I wouldn't necessarily call this very ordered. I mean, cancer is not very ordered.
I think it makes sense, does it not? Cancer, it's not good, but it makes logical sense in that in and of itself is a very, very small threshold.
I mean, what we see is that things come together and then they fall apart. This is what you expect from a universe that a universe that goes through these cycles. Is that it's like throwing cards into the air. You throw it into the air, they'll make a particular pattern, and then they'll fall apart. Things just happen to come together and then they fall apart, which is why humans come together and humans also fall apart. We're only like in this state for a short time.
Yeah. So my only point on that kind of front would be just the sheer odds that it would take, even
100%.
if the universe was infinite and always had been and always will be, the amount of
100%.
odds it would take to do that are still unfathomably large, that it's harder for me to imagine.
Is it zero?
It's to a number that is close enough to, it's a number close enough to zero to be more
But is
likely
it zero?
to zero than it is any other number.
But is it zero?
So again, it's when you add in all these.
Even if it's the most minute possible decimal number, in an infinite in a universe that's always existed, it's a 100% chance that it will come to pass eventually.
So my only counterpoint onto that would be: is it more likely that the law? So what you said before was the basis of the understanding is that mass cannot be created or destroyed, right? It what has always been will always be.
Matter.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah, matter cannot be created or destroyed.
One of the most miraculous parts of our universe is that it makes sense.
We make sense of it, sure. We see things as they are, and we categorize things.
What we're doing is describing it. Language is descriptive. Like, that's all we're doing. We're not like.
Yeah. Fair enough. Let me rephrase. One of the miracles is that it's consistent. Not that we can describe it, but that it's consistent. It's the same as it was. Gravity is the same as it was yesterday as it is today. And there's no guarantee other than the history to guarantee that moving forward, right?
During this current iteration of the universe, it would seem so, but I don't know.
Yeah. But in an infinite possibility, it would also be just as infinitely likely that tomorrow we wake up and none of our laws of physics are the same because everything decided to change randomly.
Yeah, I guess we'll just wait till tomorrow to see if that happens, but...
Again, so that would lead to either you can have the option of everything is possible, which would also include stuff being created and destroyed, or I'm just running on the faith of everything that happened before will continue to happen in a consistent manner.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I can tell, the laws of nature work in the way that they've always worked, and will continue to work in the way they always work until we can demonstrate otherwise. So matter
None of this also gets you closer to God.
But it does get me closer to, I think it's more logical to believe in a creator as opposed to everything having always been consistent, regardless.
But you can't demonstrate to me that there's ever been a nothing that became something.
But I think the odds of everything coming together put it so far out there that it's just as likely that something could have been created in that time.
No, you have to demonstrate that something can come from nothing if you want me to believe that. If you cannot demonstrate that there was ever nothing, I'm not going to believe there was ever nothing.
Okay, so unless somebody can come to you in front of you and show you that they can create nothing from something from nothing,
or they can demonstrate it through some method that something could come through nothing. They don't have to necessarily perform the action of bringing something from nothing, but they have to at least demonstrate it in some manner.
Okay. How about life?
Life came from something. Life didn't come from nowhere.
Okay, what did it come from?
Amino acids.
Organic. Yeah, inorganic materials.
So, why is it that we've never been able to recreate life without introducing life into the matter? So we can clone stuff, right? So we can clone and create life through life.
The Uri Miller experience demonstrate that you could use naturalistic processes to bring about at least the building blocks for life from inorganic materials. But again, until the supernatural can be demonstrated to exist, all we have at our disposal is the natural, and therefore the only viable explanation for where life came from is through a naturalistic process. So that's the only viable answer.
Why? Hold on, I don't follow that point.
Okay, because the supernatural has not been demonstrated to exist, then but nature has been demonstrated to exist. Therefore, the only viable option for where life came from is through a naturalistic explanation.
I'm just thinking through that real quick to try and make sure I'm trying to follow it as good as I possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying until you can prove that life came from non-life because of miracle.
Yeah, basically
the only logical thing to do would be to say that it came from a domino effect in essence.
Basically, until you can demonstrate that the supernatural exists, it's not even an option for where anything came about.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that we have every aspect necessary or every building block, I guess, to create life?
No.
Okay, so what would we be missing?
You would have to talk to a biologist. I'm the Bible guy. I'm not the science guy.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. I mean, I don't entirely.
Yeah, I think that both of us. I think neither of us understand abiogenesis, and probably neither of us should be making claims on behalf of a biologist.
From my research that I've been able to do, obviously, again, I'm no biogenesis, so I'm no person who spent years and years of my life into this field and chased it down, but I have not yet been able to find anything that has any sort of creation of life, and I think that is a testament to creating something from nothing.
Have you been able to? Well, no, not from nothing. Have you been able to demonstrate that the supernatural exists?
What do you mean by that? Define supernatural.
Something that's beyond nature.
I think that the living gospel and everything in the Bible is beyond nature, and so is God.
It looks like it reads like a book, like any other book to me. There's nothing special about it. It definitely doesn't read like an inspired text.
Yeah, and that's something that is completely fair from your point of view, and that I can't necessarily change or shift. My only point would be that I think that life itself would be the miracle that's out of a natural.
But that's just a claim, though, and you don't know that life came out of nothing. As far as we know, the only thing that we've been able to demonstrate is real is nature, and therefore it's from nature that life came.
But we haven't been able to demonstrate that nature.
It's yeah. You have been able to. You believe that nature exists, right?
As in which? Go
As
ahead and
in the
clarify.
natural world. The natural world exists.
Like
you're not
you?
a solipsist, are you?
No, no, no.
Okay. You believe that matter exists.
Yep.
Like I exist. I'm the natural physical world around us. It exists. You're able to demonstrate that.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. We haven't been able to demonstrate the supernatural exists. Therefore, the only viable option is that it comes from a natural origin.
So again, I think that it would be. We haven't been able to demonstrate a natural origin of it either, have we?
But there's no other option for what it could be. All
A
there is
supernatural
nature.
option.
Well, no, you'd have to demonstrate that the supernatural exists.
You would also have to demonstrate that the natural exists by that standard.
Yeah, which we are able to. I can demonstrate that the natural exists. It's all around us. Nature exists. I'm part of nature. Look at me. Like you're
Okay.
able to demonstrate that nature exists. Like it's just evident for anyone who has eyes, ears, and a
To the
body.
problem of where did life originate from? Because we can't recreate that.
No, it doesn't matter if we can't recreate it because again, the only option where it could come from right now is a natural origin. Until you can demonstrate to me that the supernatural exists in the same way that you're able to demonstrate to me that that nature exists.
Yeah, and I don't agree that that's the only option. Even by your own definitions,
It's
it
not
is.
the only option entirely, but it's the only one that would make sense with the knowledge that we have right now. It's the only one because there is no demonstrable evidence that supernatural exists. I don't know what you're not understanding about this. We exist, the natural world exists. Therefore, until we can have evidence that the supernatural exists,
Okay.
natural is the only thing that we can say for certain. So that's why that makes the most sense. It's more parsimonious. Cut the
Okay.
chain short.
It's the
Okay.
default.
Okay, so would you agree that if it were to be proven 100% undeniably true that Jesus' resurrection from the dead would have been miraculous?
Sure.
And
Can you do that?
I can point to evidence and I base my own judgments off of that. So that's the best I can do. I can't prove 100% certainty. I don't think anybody can.
I don't need 100% certainty. I just need good reason to think that Jesus actually resurrected from the dead.
I barely think there's enough evidence that we hardly crossed the threshold that he existed. So I don't know how you're gonna do this.
Ooh, really? So
Just to be clear, I am a historicity guy. I believe Jesus existed. But
Okay.
the evidence for his historicity
I'm
is
not a
bare.
mythicist, but it's like it's not very much. There's no contemporary evidence for him, but like that's fine. But to say that he did miraculous things because of the nature of miraculous things, there's a far higher level of evidence that is needed for miraculous things.
Yeah, so I can definitely tackle that one. So Jesus most definitely existed if we believe in any historical book.
Look, I already hold that Jesus existed, so you don't have
Yep.
to prove that to me. Why
Yep,
should I think he resurrected?
That's 100% fair. So we can, they're tied in a little bit together. So I'm just going to reiterate and you tell me if this is going to be repeating to you since you already agree that Jesus did exist. But the reason we believe Jesus existed is because there's so many accounts of his life, and these accounts were around by.
We have the Gospel of Mark, and we have Luke and Matthew, which are riffing off of Mark, and John, who's probably riffing off of Luke. It's really more like 1.5 sources for Jesus. And we had Paul, who only ever didn't know Jesus. He only had visions about Jesus afterwards. So we don't have anything from the time of Jesus about Jesus, only decades after the fact. So the evidence for no.
So let me take a step back because I think I misunderstood where you guys. So, for example, the Gaelic Wars, did they happen?
I don't know anything about the Gaelic Wars.
Plato or Homer's Iliad, would those be considered texts that are?
Homer probably maybe wrote them, but the events. There may have been a Trojan War, maybe, but was there a man named Odysseus who traveled to the island of Ithaca? No, that never happened. At least we have no
Okay.
reason to think so. Did
How
Alexander
about
the Great exist? Yes, but was he born of the god Zeus? No.
how about any of Plato's works or any of
Plato just wrote about philosophy.
tetralogies?
Yeah, I
He wrote
think
about philosophy.
I think
Yeah,
there
but these
may
are all people
be
who existed, right?
I well
Plato
I think
existed.
I think there may be people that say that also not everything that was credited to Plato was Plato, but I would have to look that up to be sure. But like we agree that Jesus existed, and that we're not like arguing against that. What
Yep.
we're saying is that the standard of evidence of like things like being born of a god, like we don't
Yep.
think that is true. In the same way that Jesus didn't walk on water or turn water into wine or raise from the dead, like those we don't have to believe that to think that Jesus existed.
So the reason I bring up other texts, such as all the things I mentioned, like the Gallic Wars about Caesar or the history of
Here,
Rome.
how about we bring
Yeah.
up how about we bring up just another contemporary historical work like Josephus?
Okay.
Okay, I think
Perfect.
Josephus wrote his works because he tells us at the end of his own work Antiquities that he wrote it. He cites his sources. He expresses skepticism about things that may or may not have happened. His work reads like a biography, like a real biography. He doesn't read like a mythology. The Gospels don't read like that. We don't know who wrote them. We don't know where they get their information, and they never express skepticism about what may or may not have happened in the way that historians would.
Yep. So I'm not super familiar with Josephus, but I understand the concept, and I agree. Like that's probably a gold standard as well. So for these previously named ones that I have, so for example, people don't assume Julius Caesar wasn't a person, right? And the number of manuscripts we have about Julius Caesar, that means like written from around his era or, be able to be dated back, is only about less than 300.
The
So there's
number
less.
of manuscripts isn't the number of manuscripts is important because we only have 4 gospels, but it's like they get copied a lot. It's not it's not about the number of manuscripts. It's about where does the information come from. Number doesn't
Yep.
matter.
And there are other writings from around that time, but none of them are considered gospel. So none of them are considered to have come from God himself as a teaching. So that's why the
Well,
gospel.
depends on what Christian you would have asked in the first century. But all we really have are the writings of Paul and the Gospels, and that's it.
There are other documents out there from Jewish leaders at the time as well, documenting all that was done around Jesus.
No, the only Jewish person who writes about Jesus in the first century is Josephus, and he only mentions that he was crucified and his brother James was stoned to death. But that's it. There are no other Jewish works that talk about Jesus during this time.
So we agree that he was a person, and it's because there's copies out there, and because it happened so recently to when Jesus was around that it could have been. If I had read the works of Josephus, I would have been one generation removed from the time.
To be
able
clear,
to verify.
the only reason I believe that Jesus of Nazareth existed was because of the works of Josephus, Tacitus, Pliny, and Paul, not because of the Gospels. I think the Gospels are mythology about Jesus.
Okay, awesome. I'm glad you used that term exactly, because my point is that all of these, even including Josephus, all of them have manuscripts that date to within 100 years of Christ being resurrected. What that means for the idea of it being mythology or it being legend is that legend, and this is by the standard of historians, it takes 4 generations for it to be determined into a legend. So any story, for it to be able to be turned into a legend, it's part of the standard for determining how historically accurate something is. I forget the term they use. I'm able to Google it.
That's simply not true. Mythology. You know that within the lifetime of the founder of Rastafarianism. What was his name? Fuck me. One second. Founder of Rastafarianism. His name was. The Ethiopian king. Let's see. Ethiopian king. Selassie. There you go. Haile Selassie the first. Just within his own lifetime, people were already making claims about him performing miracles and about him being God. This was within the lifetime of Selassie.
Yep. And were people able to verify that he wasn't God and he wasn't doing these?
No more or less than Jesus.
Why is Jesus why did Jesus' church explode in Jerusalem in the hometown, for lack of a better word?
It didn't explode. We have no evidence that Christianity was popular in the first century.
Really? So
literally Tacitus barely even knows about them. He has to ask around about the Christians in order to get any information about them.
So the idea that there are 23,000 plus manuscripts of the New Testament in that time period, within 300 years, and also that the Romans pinned their entire downfall on
the majority of our manuscripts of the New Testament were written after the 9th century.
Again, so still beside the point, the Romans heavily persecuted Christians because they were a threat to their kingdom, and they even blamed King Nero, blaming them for a fire and attacking the kingdom. But they were.
No, we don't have any evidence of this. This is all later. This is all later church tradition. We don't have any actual historical evidence that there was a heavy persecution of Christians.
We don't have evidence that Nero burned Paul at the stake because he was the leader of a revolution. Okay.
No, and also church tradition doesn't say he was burned at the stake. It says he was decapitated.
I'm sorry, decapitated, not burned. You're right. I apologize.
The only first century work anything we have on Paul's death is from the works of First Clement, which describes that Peter and Paul had recently been killed, but it doesn't describe how they were killed.
Yeah. So my argument would pretty much boil down to I believe that the New Testament, as well as other documents that point to Jesus being a person, are some of the most reliable and fact-checkable, having been written in that time. If you disagree with
let's fact check that then.
Yeah.
According to the Gospel of Matthew, was Jesus born during the reign of King Herod the Great?
Are you asking me, or are we fact-checking this somewhere else?
I'm asking you.
Okay. Say your question again, sorry.
According to the Gospel of Matthew, was Jesus born during the reign of King Herod the Great?
Yeah, I believe so. If my memory serves me right, I believe that's what's written.
Now, King Herod the Great ruled from 40 BCE to 4 BCE, which would place Jesus' birth sometime between 6 to 4 BCE, right?
Yeah.
Now, according to the Gospel of Luke, was Jesus born during the census of Quirinius?
I honestly wouldn't be able to remember that. You feel free to tell me the answer as it's written. I don't disagree that you'll tell me the truth on that.
Yeah, here, I'll just read the Gospel. Yeah. It says in Luke chapter 2, in those days a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be enrolled. This was the first enrollment when Quirinius was governor of Syria. And then it goes on to tell, because of this, that everyone had to go back to their homeland. Joseph had to go to Bethlehem, and it was in Bethlehem that Jesus was born.
Yep.
The problem with this is that the census in the Quirinius was 6 years after Herod had already died. So Herod the Great died, and his kingdom was divided amongst his 3 sons: Herod Archelaus, Herod Antipas, and Herod Agrippa. And Herod Philip. Herod Agrippa was later. Herod Archelaus was the ethnarch of Judea for 10 years, and he was so shite at his job that the Romans had to depose him. They exiled him to Vienna because he was so bad at his job. And after that, the area of Judea was annexed to Rome. Quirinius was made governor of Syria, and then under Quirinius, Coponius was made the procurator of Judea. And during that time period, the enrollment or the taxation of Quirinius took place in 6 CE. the same year, according to Cassius Dio, the Roman historian, that Tiberius dedicated the temple to Castor and Pollux, which was in 6 CE. So Jesus cannot be born both during the reign of King Herod the Great, like Matthew says, but also while Quirinius is this governor of Syria and doing the census.
Okay.
There's another historical problem. So like I said, the census of Quirinius. So let's assume Matthew's not true for a second, and Luke is true. Luke says Jesus was born during the census of Quirinius at 6 CE. It says that he was baptized at the age of 30, which would place his baptism at 36 CE. And then how long was Jesus' ministry for?
I think people estimated around 30 to 33 years, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, which would place his crucifixion around 39 CE. The problem is that Pilate was the procurator of Judea from 26 to 36 CE, so he was not even around during the time when Jesus would have supposedly been crucified, according to the Gospel of Luke.
Okay. Can you repeat which verses those were? I'm just marking down because I would love to be able to read these and kind of have more time on them as well.
For the Herod versus Quirinius text?
Yeah, that one was Matthew 2, right? You said?
Yeah. Matthew chapter 2 and Luke chapter 2.
And Luke chapter 2. Awesome.
And then for Jesus, when he was baptized, when it says 30, I believe that would be in Luke chapter 3, verse. Let me take a look at the exact verse. Luke 3:23. Jesus, when he began his ministry, was about 30 years of age.
Awesome. And then your point with those, one would be the birth time is wrong with the first one, and then the second one would be you're correlating about 30 years to when he died. Say that piece again, please, so I can...
So according to the Gospel of Luke, Jesus would have been crucified around 39 CE because he was born in 6 CE under the census of Quirinius, baptized 30 years later in 36 CE, and then his ministry would bring his crucifixion to 39 CE. And Pilate was not the procurator of Judea in 39 CE. He'd already been retired for 3 years from that position.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. I'll take some notes there and look into those as well to see what answers, or maybe it is a contradiction. Obviously, I'm not going to claim, but that's... Go ahead.
And even the content of the nativity stories are also questionable because in Matthew, Jesus is born in Bethlehem. Then he has to travel to Egypt to escape from Herod, and then they settle in Nazareth. As opposed to Luke, where Jesus' family are from Nazareth, they only go to Bethlehem for the census. 8 days later, they go to Jerusalem to have Jesus circumcised, and then they immediately go back to they go back home to Nazareth.
I'm missing the contradiction there.
So, okay, after Jesus was born, where did he go? Did he go to Jerusalem to be circumcised, or did he travel to Egypt?
Oh, so this would be in relation to the prophecies of the Savior came from Egypt to be from Nazareth, right? Is that what I'm understanding?
Well, that's a whole other problem. The fact that this is not prophesied in the Hebrew Bible, but the fact is, after Jesus was born, did he go to Jerusalem to be circumcised, or did he go to Egypt?
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Because in one gospel he goes to Egypt, and then they go back and they settle in Nazareth. In the other gospel he goes from Bethlehem. 8 days later he's in Jerusalem to get circumcised, and then they go to Nazareth. And there's no way to make a trip from and to Israel within the 8 days that Jesus would have been born and circumcised. And also it is 10 years after Herod's already dead anyways.
Okay. Cool. Well, yeah, I mean, based off of this, obviously I don't have the tools on hand and I don't have the knowledge on hand to go with these. The basis for my belief comes from the belief that these are very accurate and they do come true. Obviously, I will need to look into them because if there are contradictions and stuff that can be proven, then obviously that would raise a point in that belief or raise a hole to that belief, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I read the Gospels, they don't read like histories. They read like mythologies. No one's ever questioning whether or not an event actually took place or not. No one's ever citing sources. And the events of the Gospels just don't make any sense for real life. Jesus stumbles upon these fishermen, tells them to follow him, and they immediately leave without question and follow him. Or Jesus continuously tells his disciples that he's going to die and come back to alive 3 days later. And then they're surprised when it actually happens. It reads more like what you would expect a myth to sound like, as opposed to a historical event.
Yeah, so I think I will point out on there that I do agree that it doesn't read like a textbook, and I don't think it's supposed to read like a textbook. I think that's
Well,
what
not a
separates.
textbook. It doesn't read like a history from the first century.
That's what I mean by textbook. Like, it doesn't read as something you would refer to just for this happened on this date, this happened here, right? Like a recording, for example. Like it wouldn't read as something that I would look to for recording. And yet, I don't believe that's what its purpose was. If they were to write everything down and just as things had happened, I think that would have been a much different book. I think what the gospel serves as, and this is what the church basis was built on, was that these are lessons from God and teachings from God, right? So,
Oh, I agree. The Gospels were not meant to be relating what Jesus actually did and said. They're meant to teach lessons to the Christians because they're not histories. They're myths, and myths serve they serve the purpose of teaching
yep. So
stories and
I think there's a mixture of both real events that took place and happened and literal meanings in the words, and then I think there's also a lot of parables and analogies or things that come from a different perspective that would have been
as far as I can tell, I mean, the only parts of the Gospels that I take as being remotely accurate was that one, Jesus was from Nazareth, and two, he was crucified under Pontius Pilate. Other than that, there's not really anything in the Gospels I can point to and say that's a historical event that actually took place.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm gonna look into these ones. I appreciate you sharing it. That's just my own knowledge of it. If you've already come to your own conclusions on these, I don't think there's going to be much that I can add to other conclusions based off of those. I would obviously need to do some research on exactly the content.
I mean, yeah, if you do your homework and you can find historical sources that disprove the chronology of these events.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I would. I'm going to start looking into them. I'd love to have another conversation at another time when I'm better informed. Obviously, I would like to get to the truth, right? I think we should all seek truth, and I think we should all not base our lie in blind faith or our lives off of blind faith. But yeah, so I wanted to look into the stuff that you pointed out and see if there's evidence that I find that leans one way or the other. So I appreciate you sharing.
Absolutely. You have a good day, Craig.
Yeah, you too, man. Take it easy.
All right, everyone. We got 30 minutes left before the live ends, and then I gotta go walk my dogs. And I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my day off. So let's see. We got another guest in here. We got Aharon Angel.
I think we should call out I am his pastor right now. I am his pastor, 100%. Just talking crap in the comment section. Just always in these atheist lives saying stuff.
Oh, I don't see them, but sure. If you're in the comment section, I am pastor. Don't be a coward. Come up and talk to me. Aharon, I have 3 questions for you. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yep.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Yep.
And question number 3, what are your pronouns?
That's irrelevant.
That's the question I asked. And if you want to have the conversation with me, you have to answer the question.
What does the pronouns matter?
It's a test. So let's see if you pass it. What are your pronouns?
I.
Okay, what are your third person pronouns?
Oh no, I answered your question, right? You didn't.
Oh, no.
You didn't
Here, let me ask.
Continuation.
Here, what are your third person pronouns?
No. But you already asked the question.
You're already failing the test, my dude. If you want to have this conversation, you go. Here, I'll make this. I'll make this very easy, Aaron. You either answer the question and you know what the question actually is. Don't be a smart ass with me. You can either answer the question or I'll drop you because I don't need you to be here. So unmute yourself and tell me what your third person pronouns are.
Are you upset that I was able to.
Oh man, that's too bad. You had your opportunity, but you fucked up. All right. Let's see. RT says, God is even invention. Correct. Pastor running from 1 Peter 3:15. It would seem. Let's see. Yeah, give it to get some bottles in the comment section for Aharon. Oh man. Let's see. Yeah, absolute fail. Hey, it's not my fault. It's like, why is pronouns their kryptonite? They use pronouns for God.
I mean, you have much better conversations now that you ask that question, and you just don't let them do that. It leads to much better outcomes. So, like, W that question.
W that question. Edgar says he can't do pronouns, guys. He's stuck at casual nouns. Oh my god. Let's see. There's no polite way to tell a person that they're dedicated their life to an illusion. Yeah, well, we find a way. We find a way. Nadine says, "Wish I had a Dr. Pepper." Man, that sucks, Nadine. 1 second. All right.
I have Canada Dry Zero Sugar.
That's such a commercial. And whoever, okay, did anyone ever see the 1989 Diet Coke trailer for Batman? So Batman with Michael Keaton and the Alfred. It has Alfred saying, "We're down to our last Diet Coke," and then Batman goes out and gets the Diet Coke, and at the end it does the song, "Just for the taste of it, Diet Coke." All right. Oh no. Okay, Aharon, I'll let you back up, but you're going to have to answer the question, dude, or I won't give you a third chance. I give second chances. I don't give third chances. So let's see if you're able to play ball. Aharon, what are your pronouns? I got my finger on the disconnect button. So what are your pronouns?
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. What are your pronouns?
Sir.
That's not a pronoun. Jesus, fuck. 6th grade was hard. I know. Let's see.
I had to beat you to it. I wanted to be the one.
Yeah. Let's see. And he doesn't get a third chance. Sorry. Let's see. But yeah, that's one of my favorite commercials. I said you don't get a third chance, so exiting, you don't get to come up.
What? Just don't keep requesting. We've not given you consent, so stop. I know consent is very difficult for some Christians.
Here, I'm just going to leave him down there, and he can just listen. I've I've only got 1 minute before the end of the show, so it doesn't matter. Oh, sorry, not 1 minute. I have 30 minutes. I've got 31 minutes. He can just sit down there for 31 minutes. I don't care. He can just sit here and listen to me talk. So anyways, that's one of my favorite commercials. Ashlyn, do you have a favorite commercial from when you were like really young?
You weren't even born yet. You're younger than me.
I know, but like I watched 1989 Batman, and I remember a lot of trailers from a lot of movies that I watched. That being that young.
I don't know. Honestly, the jeans commercial. Oh my god. Now I'm forgetting what brand it is, so clearly it's not great advertising. Is it Gap? I think it's Gap.
Man, mind like a steel trap, you. Let's see.
I'm sorry, I don't pay that much attention to pop culture.
Oh, in 1999, on the Tarzan VHS tape, there was a trailer for like the millennial celebration at Disney World, with the little boy who catches the star, and I love that commercial. It makes me feel so warm inside and brings me back. Does anyone else know the commercial I'm referring to?
No, I didn't really pay attention to commercials, Dalton.
I was a weird kid, I guess. Oh wait. Uh,
They lost my my attention.
Derek, thank you for the follow. Let's take a look real quick and see if we have gotten any more subscribers on the YouTube page. We are currently sitting at 519. So yeah, we get a few new followers today. So whoever followed the YouTube channel, thank you so much. And if you want to know, if you're out there and you want to know, why, where to find my YouTube channel, it's in the link tree along with my Cash App. If you want to see the quality of these lives go up, my Cash App is in the link tree as well. Just saying. Let's see.
Make sure you're tapping the screen, sharing out the live, doing all the things, so we can get a couple more conversations in here. Yeah, do the things, guys.
RT says Jesus was neither God nor man. He was a literary creation. I don't buy that theory. I don't think that someone, even if mythicism is true, I don't think Jesus was invented whole cloth. I'm more apt to believe the mythicist tradition that Jesus was a visionary being that got turned into a historical character, as opposed to that he was just invented whole cloth for a conspiratorial reason. It's just too much for me. Shiloh Dynasty said, "Missed you guys." Missed you too, Shiloh.
Yes, it's nice.
Aaron said, "Tap that beautiful Dalton." Yeah, tap that Dalton. Do that too, Bruce, one more time. Bruce so horny, he loved you long time. Oh, sorry, I watched Bruce Almighty recently. I'm just a reference machine. Let's see. Does a visionary being have any physical characteristics? Yeah. I mean, if you are an individual having hallucination of a visionary being, you would see them as something. Aaron says Doug beats Bruce. Doug. Praise Doug. Yeah. Let's see. Did Q-Top... I would love to talk to Q-Top, actually. Scotty Too Hottie is a returning guest. So just so I can get a reminder, Scotty Too Hottie. Scotty, are you at least 18 years old or older? Are you a Bible believer? And what are your pronouns?
Yes, he, him.
Fantastic. You know me, I'm not the Bible guy. You know I don't believe in the Bible. So why should I?
Well, basically, because it's like a gamble. If you understand gambling,
Not really. Aren't you gambling?
Yeah. Well, you're for sure going to turn to dirt and be nothing, right?
I mean, yeah, but aren't you just as likely to end up in hell as I am? Because what if Islam is true, or Judaism, or Norse mythology, or literally any other number of myths?
No, none of that. Because the only path is through Jesus Christ, even though they all believe in God.
No, Scotty, what if you're wrong and Jesus was actually just a man, and Judaism is true? Then you'll end up in hell for worshiping a man as God.
If I'm wrong, then I'll end up in hell. But if I'm right, I'm going to end up in hell. If you're right, you're going to end up in hell.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the evidence seems to go. So I don't
If
really
you're
care
wrong, then you'll
about...
end up in hell. If
Yeah, I
you're
don't
right,
really care. Look, Scotty, are you afraid of Muslim hell in the least bit?
no, because it's not real. There's only...
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not scared of your hell because it's not in the least bit real either.
No, I take all religions into consideration, right? They're all...
So do I.
true.
They're all
They're
equally
all
fake.
true. No, they're all true, but their only true path is Jesus.
No, I think they're all as ridiculous as each other. I literally have no more reason to believe that your hell is real than Muslim hell. Like, your hell is just as equally made up.
Islam was created by a fallen angel, right?
How do you know that it's not all a test, and that actually the only people that go to heaven are atheists.
Well, then I guess that I will leave, but I'm not gonna do that. I don't believe that. That's the truth.
Yeah, but what if it turns out that the only reason God invented all these religions, and the only reason He invented the Bible, was as a test to see if you would be a sycophant for like an evil God and believe in things without evidence, and only people who pass the test and get to go to heaven are the ones who thought critically about it and were atheists.
Well, that's kind of true, right? If you guys are falling for your evil God, then
No, you.
I'm not falling for an evil God. I'm falling
We
for
don't have a
are.
god. We
No,
can't
not
fall
me.
for an evil god. We don't have a god.
Yeah, you do. That's Satan.
I don't worship. No, I don't worship Satan.
We don't
I
believe
don't
in
worship
Satan.
Satan.
Satan's greatest trick is to
And
make you
don't do that whole bullshit about Satan's greatest trick was convincing the world he never existed. That's it. You could say that regardless of whether or not Satan was real or not.
What is going on with Scotty's audio, though?
Yeah, Scotty, your audio is all kinds of fucked up. So I think you'll have to come back when you have a better mic and a better argument. Yeah, because that was driving me crazy too. Scotty, by the way, is an atheist in regards to every other religion except for his God. I just am more of an atheist than him. I don't care if you believe or not. It's your soul, your eternity. Yeah, you too, Ed. Like, you worshiping Jesus, your soul, your eternity. You're going to end up in Muslim hell. You'll end up in Jewish hell. You'll end up in Odin hell, or what? You'll end up in the Duat, and you won't get to go into the field of reeds, because your heart is too heavy. Yeah.
Someone
Like,
said,
I'm not
"What-
scared.
It's a gamble." Sounds like solid face. Like, yeah, you're just gambling your eternity away. You're not using any argument. You're just like, well, I just picked this one. You know, $100 on red.
Who do we think for Satan? The Hebrew Bible and the Israelites. They're the ones who invented the adversarial figure in the Hebrew Bible. No, where in this universe is there not structure? I would say Cancer is not very structured. The Cancer is literally the body like falling into disorder. Let's see. That's why it's such a bad argument. They basically just opening with a fallacy. Yeah. I think we should call it the Pascal fallacy. If some of these Christians are going to heaven, it sounds like hell to me. Oh, that's funny. You should believe in the Bible if you believe, and no one can make you believe it. What? Checking on it. You've been commenting on some of my videos lately. I haven't read any of your comments. Your comments go on for too long, and I don't give a shit. We have...
Do a TLDR.
Yeah. We have Heparos. Heparos, just so I can get a reminder, because I think you've been on here before. Are you at least 18 years old or older? Do you believe in the Bible? And what are your pronouns?
I'm above 18. I have never been here before, and that's an additional answer. But I believe in the Bible. I was brought up that way. I'm a he.
Have you not been on here before, or were you on Justin's live?
I don't believe so.
Oh, well, your name looks familiar. I'm the Bible guy. I don't believe in the Bible. Why should I?
Yeah, why should we? I think I heard you before talk about like Jesus is a mythical figure.
Oh no, I think Jesus was a historical figure.
Yeah, exactly, and that's more than enough to establish the fact that a person by that name during that time that was, in a way controversial and stuff, existed.
There were lots of people named Jesus in the first century, and probably lots of them were killed by a crucifixion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They did that a lot, didn't they?
So why should I believe in the Bible?
Yeah, that's a good question. because I'm asking myself that a lot. I was brought up as an evangelical Christian, but
Same.
I've been like, doing some individual soul searching, you might say, and I figure there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense, and isn't adding up, and isn't, everything you talk about other religions, other religions being a road to hell, but and that's a free choice to choose Jesus and the salvation according to the Bible and all that. But the fact is, and that's you can't dispute that. I mean, the way you were brought up is a 90% chance that's going to be your religion for life. I would say 90 at least. So that anybody and everybody has a free choice to embrace or denounce Jesus and the salvation message. That's just
I mean,
a lie.
yeah, I would say it's not really much of a choice. It's more like coercion, because most Christians teach that it's either you love Jesus or you'll burn forever.
Kind of like that. And I think there's a lot of stories in the Old Testament that could be refuted as mythological stuff, but as evangelical Christians, they kind of believe it as an historical record, and those are the guys that believe that the Earth is 6,000 years old, and I've got relatives that firmly believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't believe in evolution; they believe in creation, and stuff like this. And I'm just scratching my head, but it's no use meeting with them because their minds are set. And
it sounds like you're on the journey of deconstruction right now, Hepharos. I'd be interested to know what is it, if anything, that's sort of holding you back from just fully embracing being an atheist?
Well, I kind of listen to, Christopher Hitchens?
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Hitchens. He's a very interesting guy. He's a very multi thought person. God bless his soul, I was about to say, but I can't say that. But,
yeah, Hitch was a very good rhetorist. He was very good at debates. He was very charming. And his book was very well received by the public.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say so. He was a rhetorical genius, but he was also a very, very knowledgeable guy, I would say. He had so much, facts in his head. It was kind of baffling, actually. And he could debate just about anyone. But luckily, there's a lot of recordings of his debates or his, speeches and stuff. So you can always go back and ponder over what he had to say and all that. But I mean, he kind of said that the New Testament, it was actually more evil than the Old Testament.
I would agree with that, because at least in the Old Testament, when you were dead, you were dead. But in the New Testament, there's this added factor of, if you don't follow God, when you die, you will be tortured and burned forever and ever, which is infinitely more evil than anything God ever did in the Hebrew Bible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he claimed, and I can't prove that, but somehow I think it's kind of accurate that the Old Testament, it never speaks about an eternal fire that will burn you forever and all that. that may be true, and so it was invented so as a, you know, I don't like to be scared into thinking in in a how do you say
Coerced.
into yeah, coerced way, and that is kind of what the New Testament does. And Paulus reeks of sulfur sometimes. Paul, you may call him, or I'm from Europe, so you know, we have a
Paulos.
bit different names sometimes. But when you speak about what they speak about, what's going to happen to you if you don't, you mean, if you don't repent, if you don't follow Christ and believe in His words, and you know, so I'm kind of, it leaves me cold sometimes, even though when you embrace it, it's all nice and you can read all the beautiful words. But I mean, there's so much.
Yeah, but it's kind of like
the
it's
fire.
I always like to use the analogy of, it's kind of like, you know, the Bible has a few nice nuggets in it, but like if you were handed a plate of shit and it had a few pieces of corn in it, would you still eat it? Would you pick out the corn and eat it? Probably not.
Probably not. But yeah, I think you're onto something. I'm not a pure atheist, but a more agnostic, I would say, in believing in the Bible. And believing in the Bible, I would say, is not. It could be like thinking you are embracing God, but the Bible, if there is a God, there could be still a God, but the Bible could be misrepresenting God.
Sure,
Claiming
it's
you know.
I mean,
and
honestly,
it's
give
the
everyone
word
in the
of
comment
Greek.
section. Everyone in the comment section give a W for Hipperos for like stating the fact that Bible isn't all that great. But Hipperos, I have another guest waiting in the comment section who would like to talk to me.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming up.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
That was nice. Palate cleanser. We have here Matt Hill. Matt, I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions I ask of every single one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old or older?
Yes.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Yep.
And question number 3, what are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible guy. I don't believe in the Bible. Why should I?
I've just come across your channel here, just listen to you for a minute. I would point first off to you know, the Dead Sea Scrolls, Isaiah. I mean, you obviously believe those are real, right? I'm just trying to get a starting place.
I think what the Dead Sea Scrolls are able to demonstrate to us is that the Jewish people were very meticulous in copying the Bible. But I don't think it tells us whether or not the content in the Bible is true. Just that it was very much believed to be true by a group of people.
Okay. Well, the reason why I bring up Isaiah is it points to a coming Messiah. I mean, we both agree on that, right?
Well, in some parts, I don't think the prophecies, I don't think the passages that you're going to point me to, I don't think those are probably about the Messiah. This is my favorite topic to talk about. What do you think is in the book of Isaiah that points to Jesus?
It doesn't specifically say the name Jesus, but just the virgin birth. I mean, there's several Isaiah. I mean,
I would say there is no virgin birth in the book of Isaiah.
We could go through all of them if you want to, but just what I'm getting at is, you know, before the birth of Jesus, the Dead Sea Scrolls were probably written 200 to 300 years. Most scholars believe that, prior to the birth of Jesus, and it predicted a coming Messiah, and it listed several things that the coming Messiah would accomplish, things about him. And then you have a guy that, go ahead.
I was like, I agree with that. I just don't think Jesus did any of the things that the Messiah was supposed to do.
Well,
I mean, we would disagree on that. Just, the fulfillment of prophecy. If you
Yeah,
have
here I got.
something,
We have 9 minutes left. Let's talk about the best prophecy that you think is evidence that Jesus
I can
fulfilled.
talk to you tomorrow if you're on every day. We can save it for later because I got a bunch of
I mean,
questions too.
I'll be on Justin's Deconstructions live tomorrow, but he loves this topic.
Okay.
But let's
Yeah.
just discuss one prophecy real fast that you think Jesus fulfilled.
Well, we can do that tomorrow if you. I mean, it's your show, but just based on Jesus, if you have a guy claiming to be the Messiah, claiming to be what was prophesied 200 to 300 years ago, and fulfilled the prophecies, a lot of them, and then this predicted his death and that he would be raised back to life, and eyewitness accounts said that he did that.
All
Go
right,
ahead if you got a
so
comment.
3 things. 1, Jesus didn't fulfill messianic prophecy. 2, the things about Jesus claiming that he said these things before he died, I don't think that's historically accurate. And 3, the Gospels are not eyewitness testimony. We don't
I
know
didn't
who
say
wrote
all
them.
of them, but I said
We don't
there.
know who,
I didn't say the Gospels. I said there was like Peter, Mary that was at the tomb, and,
I don't.
and see. Go ahead.
I don't think Mary existed, let alone that she went to a tomb. I don't think Jesus was actually buried in a tomb.
Well, we can debate that too because I've done a lot of studies on just the dating of the Gospels and when they, all of that stuff. But I heard you talk about hallucinations earlier, and I was trying to get to the point where a lot of people say, well, you think that Paul existed, right?
Yeah, I think Paul was a schizotypal individual who
So let me
suffered
ask you
from.
this: if Paul, had on the road to Damascus, everybody brings that up. I'm sure you've heard it a million times and probably don't believe it, like you
Yeah.
said, you think is hallucinating. But this is my point: you have a man that was killing Christians. I mean, torturing them, killing them, imprisoning them, like doing all kinds of
Well,
things, and has an experience that not only he sees it, but the people that were with him heard the same thing. So you have a group of people that heard a hallucination together. You see what I'm
no.
saying? That would go
First
ahead.
and foremost,
Mhm.
Acts of the Apostles, the majority of scholars today do not consider the Acts of the Apostles to be a true history of Paul. It's a fiction written around the 2nd century.
Sure.
Second off, even the Acts of the Apostles is not consistent on whether or not people heard or saw things. It changes up depending on when the story gets told. And the only thing I think I know about Paul in regards to his experience is that at one point Paul was persecuting Christians. As to what that
Sure.
means, Paul never goes into detail. And then he had a visionary experience of Jesus. We don't know what caused that visionary experience. We don't because we
Well,
don't
how do
really
you
know
know what's
anything about that.
hallucination and what's real? If you seen something in front of your eyes and there was nobody else around, how do you decide whether it was real or a hallucination?
Paul wouldn't have had hallucinations.
Well, I heard y'all
Well,
bring that up earlier. I'm not claiming that you said
well,
that. I
I,
just hadn't heard that.
I'm actually not too sure about that, Ashlyn. I think
Then it
schizotypal
wouldn't.
individuals can have hallucinations. They're just not
Well, that's what I'm asking
long
you. How do you
lasting.
know, in your opinion, how do you know if you've seen something appear in front of your face? How would you know you were dreaming if it was real? I mean, how do you know what's real and what isn't?
Do we know what Paul saw?
No, I'm just asking your opinion. Like, if he had some kind of hallucination or some kind of experience that he thought he saw and heard, how would he decide whether that was real or not? How does
Well,
anybody decide whether it's real or not?
Paul lived at a time when having such an experience, they don't have a category of hallucination. Even
Yeah.
if Paul, if Paul did have a hallucination,
Mhm.
that's not a category he would have thought in. If he would have saw something, he would have thought it was real.
Right. You're right. I agree with that. If he did see something, he would believe it was real, not a hallucination. I agree with that.
Right.
They can have hallucinations, but that's generally not the nature of STPD.
Or he could have actually seen something or heard something. I mean, there is that possibility too, right?
So, but what's the evidence that what Paul saw was real?
And I'll say this, like, based on, if you have somebody just based on scripture, again, I don't have anything else to go off of as scripture. It's hard to to talk about it if if the other person doesn't believe in Scripture or that it's true. But I'm just telling you, like when I read Scripture and it tells about a man that, like we just discussed, that persecuted and killed. Persecution is not a nice
not
word.
killed.
Or okay,
we don't know.
persecuted
We don't.
Christians.
Yeah, we don't know if Paul actually killed anybody.
Well,
Yeah,
persecuted Christians let's just say this: he was totally against Christianity. Totally, and we'll agree on that based on the writings and stuff. He was totally against a group of people, like to the point of making it a life's mission to dismantle what they were teaching and lived by, and to dismantle that. And then all of a sudden have an experience one day, one experience, not a week's time or a month's time of.
We also don't know that either.
Well, I'm just based on what I have to read, and we're talking about why you don't believe in the Bible. I'm telling you, based on that Bible.
Paul doesn't tell us it's a one-time experience that converted him.
Well, there was a timeline. He had an experience. Other people hurt him, and then immediately he was blind. Immediately.
So it wasn't. Dalton, if it is sustained hallucinations or delusions, it was not schizotypal.
I didn't say it was sustained. I didn't say it was sustained.
Yeah, he could have.
Yeah.
That's just less likely. It's possible, just far less likely. The schizotypal is on a spectrum of schizophrenic. Like the new spectrum disorder would put it on there, but sustained, it's not very common with schizotypal.
Well, see, I don't think none of all three of us here are not, to my knowledge, aren't. To diagnose whether somebody is
I have a bachelor's degree in psychology.
Oh, okay, but without sitting down with somebody, it's hard to diagnose. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'm not diagnosing
Sure.
him.
Yes, ma'am, I know.
It's based on probability of of his
of events, right? Yeah.
Of what is talked about in his writings. Carrier is the one that actually someone who studied this. Comes up with schizotypal, and I agree with what is being said with Carrier regarding this topic, because he is not in. It doesn't seem like from any of his writings that he's in psychosis, and that's a very major distinction with schizotypal.
Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I'd love to keep talking to both of y'all. It's very interesting. I enjoy it, but
Matt,
and I could get to a lot more depth too. I mean.
Tomorrow, actually, I'm going to be on do you know Justin Deconstruction? The Deconstruction Zone?
I don't. I just followed you, so maybe. I don't know how.
Tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you're following me, I will be on Justin's live. So sometime after 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, you can just find me, and you'll find Justin's channel. And
cool,
you can talk to both of us.
Okay, sounds good. We'll see y'all.
Have a good day, Matt. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is our final guest of the day. Because I gotta go walk the puppers and then spend the rest of my day not talking because of my jaw. My tooth has been boring into the side of my mouth this whole time. So make sure that you follow Ashland and follow me. And if you haven't already, go to my Linktree. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. We need to build that channel up so that we can expand operations and make things a bit more professional. And you can check me out tomorrow on the Deconstruction Zone with Justin Deconstruction. Y'all have a wonderful day. Ashley, do you have anything to say before we head out?
No, just bye everyone. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the gifts and likes and everything.
And I told you Aharon, I wasn't going to let you on, and I kept my word. See, I'm consistent, unlike the Bible. All right. Y'all have a wonderful night. Bye.
Bye.